by John Seward and Drain Cleaning. 24-hour on-call service for your clogged drain emergencies. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm Andrew Callahan for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next headlines coming up in 30 minutes.
Actually coaching the game, or it's just that is. I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
The Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
Yes, I finally shaved my nuts.
and Hardy
Who, me?
Just hanging around.
on 98.5.
Fingerman, I heard about you.
Yeah.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
That's gross.
Not a great cook, but I do cook.
When I asked him about the sides,
Kick them in the balls.
I don't care about it, but it's not good behavior.
Blaze Bailey is omitted.
Toucher and Hardy
we're the best friends that can be, my buddy and me.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Then you have to sign in. Oh my God.
I don't know. The mood around here is just different this morning. I don't know why. Toucher and Hardy here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Maybe it's because Wallach isn't here. Wallach is still on his European vacation. Maybe it's because Fred is not here. Just,
This is the sixth time I've had to do this.
yeah. Nick is in a much better mood this morning because he doesn't have to come in here and sign in to Fred's computer, which there's some things you just kind of like, you got to let go. You can't think about, you can't spend any time wondering about. Fred thinks it's just totally normal, and he doesn't sign into his own computer, and gets upset when the password isn't shared around. I would not like my password shared around, but it's just different mentalities.
In our room.
That's right.
It's just bad precedent, I think, on Nick's part. I have an 8-month-old. She turns 8 months today. I'm going to have to start thinking about the habits I want to set. How often do I go pick up the things that she throws across the room? How often, when she forgets her password to God knows how many accounts she'll have in 5-6 years, do I want to be the one to log her in? It seems like that time has passed here, though, because Fred is too old. Set in his ways, I think you say at this age.
And by the way, Andrew Callahan is with us this morning, and I say us, meaning me. It's Brian Beaton, Nick Gemelli, Cece, our intern who is only here by the goodness of her own heart with us this summer, is with us this morning. But in terms of what is happening here in the on-air studio, just me and Callahan. This is the summer schedule, baby. This is people just gone. And I don't mean because you're here, Andrew. I mean, you're here all year. You are a staple.
It's a good save.
You are a part of the show.
It's a nice save.
It's the fact that we don't have a third mic today. Well, who is it? There is no one. There's no one.
Yeah,
no one available.
Last time I was in, it was a 2-man booth as well with Michael Holly. And I think that was because Hurley was a late cancellation. So I'm walking in and be like, am I doing headlines?
What's he got better to do?
I don't know. Maybe he's a staple now too. He can just say no. I haven't found that out yet.
Is he getting sick days now?
I think it was so short-staffed they had to move him to midday.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
See, that makes me feel better. So short-staffed that they had to move Hurley to midday. Your comment doesn't sting as much anymore. But no, the 2-man booth, you got to be on the whole time. There's no sitting out segments.
Oh, no.
We did load up the guest list today. This, and this is all due respect to the show, might be one of the best lineups I think I've had when I come in on Tuesdays. Granted, I guess I'm one of those guests.
Sure.
But Mike Dussault at 7:20.
Yep.
We got Brian Robb coming on Sox Celtics at 8:20. Seth Wickersham, who had this just absolute dynamo of a story because he was embedded with Sean Payton and the Broncos for 15 days in the playoffs. He was Sean Payton's shadow. Every meeting, every decision, every cup of coffee, every bowl of ice cream at 3 a.m., he was there. In the preparation for the Patriots, the AFC Championship game, he's on at 9. There's also a nugget. Did you see this? We're getting ahead with Belichick. Hey, why doesn't he coach for me?
Yeah.
Why don't I just step aside? Which I have probably more questions than anything about that, but was the big, everything now is what are you going to get for the promo, right? The clip on Instagram.
Yes.
That was the thing they pulled from that story.
Right. Which is Joe Murray dropped that on us at the end of the show yesterday, and it was one of those things I didn't hear who it came from. I'm like, man, I don't believe that. And then read the Wickersham story and the stuff in there, and that specifically. So yeah, I believe it. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I think it speaks. It says a lot about Sean Payton and the type of guy that he is, and maybe also the guy that he wants to be perceived as much as anything. But this adherence and this attention that gets paid to the records that, I hate to break it to you, Bill, Sean, everyone else, no one cares. No one cares.
Nobody.
Outside of the coaches themselves, who cares who has the most coaching wins?
But I think that's who they care about.
That's what they care about. And it's
right.
and the reason why it didn't happen, it just became too messy. Or somebody at ownership level or it had a moment of clarity and said, wait a second, what are we doing? We're going to switch things around so that somebody can come in and get a record. What do I care if he gets the record? I don't care. That's what it came down to. We'll get to that a little bit later, though. We don't want to jump the gun on this stuff. Come on, Andrew. We got to ease into things. I spoke with a woman a few weeks ago at a grad party who said she listened to this show every morning. She is and probably not now in the summer months because she's a teacher.
Was she from Everett?
She's not. It wasn't Sarah. No, there's at least 3 women that I know of who listen to this show. I knew 2 before, but this was the third who would listen to us driving in. She would drive in early to her teaching job, and she would only listen between 6 and 6:25. And her husband was, questioning her, saying well, you don't even like sports. And she said, well, they don't talk about sports for the first 20 minutes of the show. That's why I like it. So we have to super serve that audience. We can't come in here guns blazing. I mean, the headlines are one thing, but you got to ease into this thing, man. You got to heel toe it a little bit. Okay. So let's catch up with you just for a moment. How's that baby?
Baby's great. We just had our first family vacation. Folks rented a place up in Bridgeton, Maine, and we were there for 4 or 5 nights. It was a crash course, and vacation now, like the rest of your life, is totally different. Like vacation is you knew it is gone. This is because we had a good friend of mine who's married, has a kid who's about 16 months, so we're getting close to a year and a half. And with the 2 of them babbling, crying, whining at times, it was like, oh, so bedtime is the time for the beer and the hangout, and that's it. And they took naps. So it was great to get accustomed now to what vacation will be like for the rest of the time. But we love going up there. It was a wonderful vacation. It was like our one, probably vacation for the summer, because otherwise we're at home unpacking. We got a new house.
Yeah.
And everything that comes with that.
Okay. So the baby's 8 months old.
Yes.
Do you remember what I told you about the baby before the baby was born? And it's okay to say no. Nobody listens to me. It's fine.
Well, the thing is, the one thing he told me was, among a couple of things, but the first that just came to mind was a Louis C.K. quote that I cannot repeat on the air. Number 2 is our daughter was very colicky. So I was coming in and I was like, how's the baby? I'm like, look, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But nights are hard. She doesn't sleep. There's a lot of crying. It's really stressful. And you had shared what your doctor told you about your daughter who was similarly colicky through hey, in 6 weeks, she's going to smile and it's going to save her life.
Yeah. I think it was actually 5 months for our kid because we were a few months into it. But I think she said around 5 months she'll give you her first real smile, like an emotional reaction to what you're doing, and it will save her life. Because at that point, our daughter cried all the time. All she did was cry.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing. No, but. This is, I don't give advice, especially unsolicited, but, for parents who I can tell you're thinking about things and doing, I said, it's really to set your mind at ease. I say, don't worry about being prepared and having all the stuff ready and you got to have the crib and the changing table and, we're going to do this when they're scheduled, because your life as you know it will do a 180 the moment that kid pops out. because up until that point, you think you're getting ready for the baby. You think your life has changed because you're doing all this stuff between you and the mom. But really, it's still about you. You know, you're doing these things for you and your own peace of mind. When that baby comes out, your lives become about that kid. And there's nothing that can prepare you for it. And it's great. And it's, you know, a lot of people just feel that's, you know, our reason for being here in the first place. But don't worry about preparing for it. There's no way to prepare for a complete 180 in your life and having your life no longer be about you, about being about someone else. Oh, I devote my life to my husband or wife or girlfriend. No, you don't. You think you do, but you don't. It's not until you have this completely helpless newborn until you realize what a real sacrifice is and what it is like to devote your life to another living thing, and that's what it becomes. And you have no choice but to do it. So you just do it. You can't prepare for it because you've never done it before, but now you're doing it, and that's what you do. So just don't worry about it.
Like you're saying, like you don't. All of this sounds like ingrateful, but what I mean, like you don't have a choice. There's no time to do anything else but put up or shut up, right? Baby's crying, go take care of it. And so when she was born, because you can tell I'm a really good planner, I had my child in the middle of football season.
Yeah.
That it was, you know, I get up, go to work, come home, have the overnight shift, nap from like 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., drive back to Gillette, prepare, write, podcast, come in here with you guys. And so that having to do everything right away, I think helped when I went on leave, because then it was, okay, I just have one thing, like the singularity of focus. And when I talk about like, okay, vacation's different, I didn't think I was going to wake up and like have my Cheerios with, you know, a six pack, but it was, we had the friend over with the other baby. And so once that left, the quiet that just consumed the house during the naps was like, oh, okay, so we can do both of these. But maybe don't jump all the way in like I did initially. Work, family, baby, with vacation, parents, friends, baby, wife, and kid. Because the best moments, you talk about smiling and laughing, of recent memory, maybe my entire life, is my daughter smiling and laughing at me. And it just makes everything worthwhile.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a point where people are like, it just becomes the background is the soundtrack of your life. Not there yet. Yeah. I love every note. I love every piece of music, every smile that's coming from her. And especially when mom comes home yesterday, I'll admit this, and I had her all day yesterday. Mom was in the office, and my wife's playing with her. Then she sees me just like pass by or briefly turn my back to clean something in the kitchen and just starts crying. Like we have a stage 5 clinger developing. And for now, I absolutely love it.
Well, you're a much more evolved spiritual person than I am, because I still to this day have no use for a baby. I just, it means nothing to me other than my responsibility to keep that thing alive and to care for it and nurture it and teach it, of course. But in terms of those moments of bliss that you're experiencing, my ratio is like 99-1. The misery to joy ratio was so out of whack in my life when my kids were babies. I just I got no use for them.
So you had your daughter first.
Yeah.
She was super colicky. And you're going.
She did not sleep through the night for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
So we just started there. So I can't
by the
empathize.
way, are we back to colic? Because when this was 19 years ago now.
College colic?
No, well, at the time we had gotten away from the colic phrase, and it was reflux. Reflux was the big thing back in 2006 when she was born. She's got reflux. I think it's essentially the same thing. It's just it's a term to describe why the baby cries all the time. Some type of gastrointestinal distress.
That's like when you bring your kid, or I'm about to find out, but this is what I remember from being a kid and being self-aware enough to be like, when I go to the doctor and I leave and they go, oh, he's got a virus. What is it? Probably, yeah. It's either that or bacteria.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, did you flip a coin when you left the room and came back? Or we're like, here are some generic antivirals? Because I think colic is we don't really know. Like, here you go. Because I think it's the discomfort piece. Because our daughter still very much has reflux. Like, she's got her outfits, got the onesie. Every time, anywhere she goes, there's a bib there to catch whatever's going to come up from what we just fed her. Yeah. But the colic is just like, she's uncomfortable, she cries. We don't really know. You just have to wait it out.
Yeah.
It is the doctor nonverbal, throwing your hands up. Call it colic.
Right.
But then there's the club where everyone talks about, okay, you have a kid and you start to tell people and they're like, oh, you get it now. Like the sleepless nights, like welcome, like it's a Stockholm syndrome type of thing. And then there's an inner circle in the club when you say, oh, my daughter's like a little colicky. And one of the guys, Moose from NBC Sports Boston, a longtime cameraman, awesome guy. He was like, I hear you. I feel you. We had to put her in a separate room and the doctor said it was fine to just kind of like let her cry it out. And I was like, oh my God. He just looked at me like I wanted him to hold me. And he's a large enough man where maybe he could do that. But I felt so, it was like the 5th night that we had her. Nobody had actually slept. I was like, oh, he gets it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the real club.
Exactly. Now, 2 things. Number 1, baby was born in November?
November 8th.
Okay. So have you done the backdating on conception? Was this a Valentine's Day baby?
No, slightly before.
Oh, so you know.
Pretty sure.
You really knocked it out of the park that night.
Seems so. Well, I talk about planning. It was like, if it happens, great.
Okay.
If not, well, we'll give this a little bit more concerted effort.
You finished up and said, yeah,
planning.
that was a good one.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That'll be $27.50.
Okay. In terms of the vacation you just took in Maine for 5 days, was there a beach?
No, we were on a lake.
Was there sand?
A little bit in front of the house.
Okay, but look, don't take the baby to the beach. That's the one bit of advice I'll give you. Babies on the beach
It's happening in 2 weeks, and I'm doing a solo trip up to my folks who live in the North Shore.
Don't do it.
I'm excited. Here's the thing, though. This is the other best part about having the kid.
Don't know.
I am just
the baby's going to take fistfuls of sand and try and stick it in its mouth.
It's got to learn the hard way. I don't want to set the wrong precedent. Nick should have let Fred put the sand in his mouth with the password and just be like, you got to learn. You got to stop doing that.
Sand in the diapers, sand in the mouth, sand on the hands, sand in the hair. Oh, it's the worst. Don't do it.
People made fun of that line in the Clone Wars where like Hayden Christensen as Anakin is, talk about like, one time and it worked. With Natalie Portman, her character.
Celebrate the entire franchise.
Yes. Yeah. So they're like, getting romantic, whatever. But before then, there's a separate scene. They're out on the balcony. He's like, I hate the sand. It gets everywhere. And he was born on like a sandy planet. And everyone's like, that's the dumbest line in movie history. Or just maybe the way he said it. And the more I become a father and think about this beach trip, which again, I'm going to be taking alone, but I was born in Newburyport where we're going to go visit my folks and like all the places you've been, you want to take your kid to and places you love and you're from. I'm like, God, Annie was right.
Yeah. Yeah. Take her when she's 8 months.
I need to find this clip.
Take her when she's 8 months and won't remember any of it.
I hate the sand.
Yeah. And that's on you. I'm telling you right now, do it anyway. It's a mistake. It's a disaster. Baby at the beach. Worst.
First Reddit page. Quote, I don't like the sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. It gets everywhere. I think this line gets way more hate than it deserves, and you should at least read what I've got to say before judging. And then someone analyzes Battle of the Clones, which is, okay. Or Clone Wars, excuse me.
Reddit is pretty amazing. I found myself on Reddit recently more than I'd probably ever have, just because if you have a thought about something or you want to like, it's not so much the information because you can't trust the information. But if you're just looking for validation on an opinion, and it's almost always like pop culture related, check out Reddit. You'll find your people there. Just any opinion you have on pretty much anything, you'll get someone to agree with you. Even if it's the most unpopular notion in the world, someone out there feels the same way.
Reddit is,
and they've posted about it on Reddit.
And forgive me, all these Star Wars fans that I count myself part of, that I just missed the name of that movie twice. It's Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars, Battle of the Clones.
Of course.
I want their forgiveness. That's why I preempt this. All this stuff when you type into Google, is it normal, blah, blah, blah. And if you just look at the drop-down menu for like this to get stuck there, here to be this, to feel that way, that's Reddit. Like all of the things you're afraid to Google or finish that sentence, I'm telling you, is it normal?
All right.
What pops up?
Here's what it pops up for me. Is it normal to talk to yourself, to poop 3 times a day, to pee every hour, to be sore after a massage, to wake up in the middle of the night, to feel your heartbeat, to get your period twice a month, to feel nauseous on your period, to hear your heartbeat in your ear. Those are what pops up for me.
All of the answers to those questions are on Reddit.
What
and worse.
Now you must. I mean, I don't know what my algorithm is because I don't think I've ever Googled anything about a period, much less a massage because I've never had one. So this is. I don't know why they're feeding me this.
So mine are different.
Okay, is it normal to
talk to yourself?
Okay.
Bleed while pregnant. Dream every night. Poop 5 times a day. Poop 3 times a day.
Well, that's Zolak's computer.
No, this is my laptop.
Oh, I was going to say
signed into my Google account.
Yeah, if you're signed in front of Zoe, yes, five times is the minimum.
To have cramps during pregnancy, to cry every day, to have discharge every day.
Wow.
So they clearly remember when I was like anxious future dad, making sure everything's okay, and my wife is like, is this normal? Is this like all the things that I used to Google? Because for the most part, I'll go on to, I'm like, I don't even keep the Google app on my phone. Like, you don't need to know every little thing that's popping into my head. So I will still use Safari, like a boomer search of like, just put into the webpage. I'll do offense and just search from there.
Why don't you just ask Jeeves? I mean,
what is Jeeves doing? What is Jeeves up to now?
That was going to be the answer to all our prayers. And then, I don't know. Somebody must have bought it.
Let me plant this seed for later because I'm going to forget. On the way to that Maine vacation, we stopped at the Kittery rest stop, just got across the Maine, feed the baby. This bus pulls up. And from the bus comes the longest line of people I've ever seen depart a bus. One after another, single file. A bus of at least 50, probably 60 or more Amish folks.
Oh.
And so I'm sitting there. As they're slowly,
point and laugh?
one by one, I went, cheater, 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 staring at the bus. No. And you get to think about the Amish. I used to live close enough to them outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And like these people have dedicated themselves, religious reasons, of course, to like one period of time, humankind had it right. We're going to live this way. We're going to use this technology. Nothing else except for the bus. These are our lives. Would you, Hardy, take an opportunity, if you could pick any year to live as they do, but say, oh, I'm Amish 98, wherein you go back and people, I think, are finding out how addicted we are to our phones, right? Like if you just denied yourself the chance because you make this Amish 92 pledge or Amish 05, you have your iPod, okay? You have your flip phone. You have, a Mazda whatever, 03. And you're a little bit more unplugged. And the news is still the news. We can't change that. But you are pledged your life to live as it was. For the first time in any generation, always says, oh, back in my day, it was a little bit better. My generation is right. For the first time, late 90s, early 2000s, pretty good.
Okay, I'm going to tell you one bit. So you get the technology.
That's my seed.
You get the technology from that year?
Yeah, you can only within the live the you are. I'm Amish 06. Oh, I'm Amish 99.
Okay. I would tell you the one thing, and I'm going to have to think about the year, but the one thing that I find that I will never, ever be able to be without again, I got to pinpoint the year when the first really good backup camera. You get me into a vehicle now, even like a golf cart, and I'm looking down for the backup camera, above the cup holders there. It is, I'm more reliant on that, I think, than I am my phone. I can go without my phone for a day if necessary. It doesn't bother me.
It's better.
If you want me to so much as do a Target run without my backup camera, I'm going to have the cold sweats.
I think you could at least go to 2012 because we just got a used car from 2012 that has one. So probably 2011, I would say. If you want to do Amish 2011, the music you're listening to, 11 or earlier, nothing new stuff.
Yeah,
clothes, styles,
that's fine.
Yeah. See?
None of that bothers
You'd actually think about it.
Okay. Let's find out what happened last night. We'll continue on, as Andrew has already pointed out. Mike Dussault, B-Rob, Seth Wickersham, all on the show this morning, along with 2 stats and a lie. Big show here on Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
With all this rain, flooded basements happen fast. Is your sump pump up to the task? At Super Service today, they specialize in dry basement solutions, including high-performance sump pumps keeping your home dry. Call Super Service today. Celebrate Italian heritage.
last night.
Toucher and Hardy, and it is time for What Happened Last Night, brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Andrew Callahan and I are here this morning. Andrew is going to favor us with What Happened Last Night. Andrew?
So we did have some games last night. We had some matches during the afternoon. But if you were at the Newton Community Stage, where there was a Q&A between Jason Tatum and Howard Bryant, involving a book, and this is transcribed courtesy of Noah Delzell of Celtics blog, so shout out to her for bringing this to the world from the Newton Community Stage. You know.
Who also asked a great question in the Brad Stevens Chisholm press conference.
Yes, does a great job. That the biggest thing that happened last night is Jason Tatum opening up beyond an Instagram post about the Jaylen Brown trade. And there were longer comments, but this from Tatum on Jaylen is really the gist of it.
But it just makes you appreciate the moments and the times that we had. Obviously, it came to an abrupt ending, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't super successful and some great years, obviously, that he gave to the city and to the organization. But it's, the tough part is like you miss teammates, but then you have new teammates, and you want to welcome those guys and accept them and move forward with them. So there is a balance there.
So Jason Tatum, I think for a teammate that he's had his entire career, somebody he's won a championship with, is a co-star, gives, even in a intimate, small setting, like he knows he's speaking publicly, but he's not in a press conference the way that I think he would default, as a lot of athletes do, to speaking in a sanitized, corporate, down the middle type of way.
Speaking more to more actual people as opposed to reporters in this sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But the way he comes off there, nonetheless, to me, is like he's in a press conference. And I think even though enough time has passed and the post was made, and he probably knew this trade was happening, as we all debated, will they trade Jaylen? Will they bring him back? He knew before everybody else, in the way maybe Brad Stevens certainly did. I think, to me, that highlights what everyone has suspected about the relationship, that it really was maybe even shallower than we imagined.
The reports now are that in terms of their personal relationship, it was practically non-existent going back over the last year, because, we heard about how Jaylen Brown would watch Deuce Tatum, and, how there was almost, this brotherly or, cousin, type of relationship between the two of them. Apparently that had gone away a bit, and maybe it had to do with Tatum being away from the team and in the day-to-day aspect of it as he was rehabbing last year. But
though, you know what, he went on the road with them, because I had the same thought, and then I thought back to all the Celtics games that I would watch, and they would pan to the bench. Oh, and there's Tatum on the end in street clothes getting up to go to the huddle. So last year obviously was very different. So I think that point is well taken. But the idea of like out of sight, out of mind.
It's not so much out of sight, but you're not doing the same thing. You might be there, but you're not in it the way you were before. And just that one dynamic change of, yeah, guy's there every day and he may be traveling with them and he may even be at the practices, but you're not playing with me. You're not practicing with me. You're here, but you're not part of what I'm doing. And that changes the dynamic. It would change it for everybody. Now, it can result in, oh my God, so good to have you back. This is, just like old times. Or it can, maybe devolve to the point where you decide it's not working anymore. And that's the one thing I really don't, I'm really unable to wrap my head around. If Danny Ainge were still running this club and he got up there and said, no, I don't talk to players about other players like Belichick used to. No, Tom's a player. I didn't check with Tom before I made this personnel move. This, that, or the other. From Ainge, from Belichick, I tend to believe it. From Brad Stevens, I find it difficult to believe that Tatum was not looped in on this at any point.
So here's why I do believe him. I think Brad Stevens knew he didn't have to ask Jason Tatum, because Tatum was going to be okay with this. And look, when I bring up the relationship about Brown and Tatum, it's because I think we should just know on the way out, like exit interview style, what was this really? It's not because I'm upset or I think people should care, fans, even the most diehard Celtics fans, that their two best players were the best of friends and holding hands and skipping down the hall all the way to go see the trophy that they won together.
No.
They worked well. They are a championship duo forever. It worked. It happened. The whole reason that everyone does this. But it does affect what just happened, or it's linked in a way that says, I think if Jason Tatum didn't want Jaylen Brown out the building, if their bond was such that he said, that's my guy, that's my ride or die, you were not trading him, this would not have happened. And at least that is context as we all go, how was that the trade? Because the impetus seems to be that they felt this had to happen, which is the diametric opposite of Tatum in this theoretical saying it can't happen. So how did we get there? And I think the absence of that bond or a particular relationship, which their overlapping skills in the on-court fit is a different discussion. Yes, it worked, but you had so many pieces around them that also facilitated a lot of, Horford and connectivity with Drew Holiday and Porzingis and all these different things. The point is, it's nice to know now, and I think it's the subtext of what Stevens had to say the other day and what Tatum said last night that really reveals, because whatever the relationship was kind of deteriorated, or maybe just the inertia of it, they pulled away. That vacuum allowed Stevens to step in and say, okay, we're cutting this for good and we have to move on. And there are basketball reasons, but the relationship part and the culture and the dynamic that you're saying that changed probably pushed it over the edge.
Yeah. And off-court chemistry, it's like, in baseball, you talk about guys who, don't necessarily get along. Who cares? What's the on-field chemistry? What's the on-court chemistry? That's the only one that, fans should really concern themselves with. But if it serves as, if not a catalyst, at least another reason or maybe a lack of a reason to execute or not execute a trade like this, it does factor in. And thinking about this, is there a basketball duo in your mind, a successful one, that you think back on? And like, oh, those guys would, never have split up. They were the ride or die duo. There's one that comes to mind. Most of the ones that I think of and pop into my head are ones that were also famously dysfunctional, whether it was Kobe and Shaq, whether it was even the big three down in Miami, where I don't think they ever really got that thing clicking, personally the way they wanted, because it was two big egos, and it's also Chris Bosh.
Well, how about anybody with LeBron? Like, he got Anthony Davis traded to LA and then had him traded out of LA. Kyrie Irving, which Kyrie's a separate conversation. Kevin Love had the Chris Bosh kind of role and couldn't fit in there. Look, it's funny because the first one that came to mind as a duo that's not been a duo for 2.5 years now was the most joyous combination of shooters we've ever seen. Two best shooters we've ever seen. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Splash Brothers. A team that emanates joy. This is fun. This is how it's supposed to be. And they split up. I don't.
Pippen and Jordan. And Jordan was on a different level. They weren't, but Pippen never got enough credit for what he did for that team. And I think even Jordan, in his most egomaniacal moment, if you put him under truth serum, would have said, oh yeah, Pippen was as much a part of that as I was.
Well, in the modern day, you could go Murray, Jokic, but the thing is, from what I listen to and read, and I enjoy listening to and catching up and studying, researching the NBA because it's fun for me. It's not football, which is work, which is fun, but it's different, Like, Murray might be the next Jaylen Brown here in terms of bloated salary, player at the peak or just past the peak of his prime, and we just can't afford to do this with two players in the books like that because they make magic. Like, that pick and roll in their offense over the second half of last season and down the stretch was among the best offenses ever seen. And I know we say that about a lot of modern offenses given the efficiencies and everything we know. Point is, they had made music for a long time, and that's a duo that their skill sets are complementary. The ego stuff's put to the side. There's a clear pecking order, and I don't think there's any jealousy in the way that maybe it's just because I watched The Last Dance recently, but a lot of the Pippen stuff and MJ has not aged well. Like that's obviously I thought of MJ and Pippen, and Shaq and Kobe speaks for what it is, but like
personally, I don't know that they ever necessarily got along, but I think they both understood that the on-court chemistry was such that they couldn't split it up.
Or you're just so distracted by Dennis Rodman at the end, you didn't have time to wonder what's happening between us.
We'll break here for a second. I hope when we talk to B-Rob later on, he can give some type of reasonable answer as to why, because after the press conference and all the columns that have been written about it, I still don't get it. If you want to break it down to a money thing, it doesn't make sense on the money either. Maybe a year out it does, but if you're looking at this just for the next season, and especially if you're looking at it through the lens of maximizing the window for Jason Tatum, it still doesn't make sense. And we talked to John Marks from Philadelphia yesterday. In Philadelphia, they're like, yeah, it's the craziest thing ever. It doesn't make sense to us, but great. We got Jaylen Brown, and we got rid of Paul George. Awesome. They're thrilled. They couldn't be happier.
There are some things that Jaylen Brown will say, though, that make me feel that way that John Marks did, being like, this is crazy, but period. That's my feeling. And he said one of those yesterday, which we'll get to after the break.
All right, let's do that as we continue here with Andrew Callahan on Toucher and Hardy.
Sports Hub.
Apparently, Andrew is in here for during football season. Couple few segments. Come in for an hour. He'll handle Two Stats and a Lie today, co-hosting headlines and Two Stats and a Lie.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I mean, and just running things. What else you got? What else happened last night?
So we tease coming into this segment, Jaylen Brown will say things that just make me go, that's crazy. Like in a way that goes, I would walk past this person on the street and be like, man, they got some tough times. So I heard them say this. This was at the end of a wonderful day, his bridge camp involving MIT, a bunch of kids, 5th annual, yada, yada. But this is the quote you're going to see on Instagram if you see anything from that day, including his talk about the trade.
What's crazy is that we're cousins.
He's talking about A.J. Brown. He said, what's crazy is that he's my cousin. Is that what he just said?
Jaylen Brown guy when he was coming up with the Celtics, still am. But if you watch any of the Twitch streams, there are things like this. Oh, by the way, A.J. Brown's my cousin. He doesn't know this. I just found this out. Oh, there's a conspiracy against me with the refs, and a variety of other things which you can find on the Twitch stream. So Jaylen Brown's about to turn 30. And A.J. Brown was a famous college football player drafted in 2019. So in all the years that they had been in the same sphere as sports stars, up and coming, their grandfathers or fathers or anybody, mothers, just didn't bother to go, oh, you know, that's your cousin, by the way, tearing it up for the Titans. Oh, your cousin just won an NBA championship. What? And it could just be the lamest. This is, if I had to bet anything at just a very bad joke. Oh, we have the same last name. Did you know that we're cousins?
So it could be, but it's the level of detail. Our grandfathers are brothers. So that leads me to believe that no, he's leaning into this a little further than you would have to in order to pull off the joke. If you're just making a joke about it and then like, yeah, I never knew my mom had a sister that she never talked about, and she had a kid, and it's A.J. Brown, and we're cousins. No, the grandfather brother detail leads me to believe that at least he believes it, or his grandfather told him that, and how you don't know until this point or until recently, that's baffling.
See, here's the problem. Details like that are how I get you in Two Stats and a Lie all the time.
With the grandfather thing. Well, it's a problem for you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I think my record's pretty good.
I think my record's pretty good. Let me see if I still have the stats from last year.
The standings?
Well, yeah, I kept it in this side pocket of my backpack.
Did Fred declared himself the winner, though he was like one game behind, and you guys were going along with it in a way that I was slow to catch up?
Did.
And one of the few times he's yelled at me was at the end of that.
This is interesting.
No.
We should do a backpack clean-out segment here.
Oh.
I have passes for the Easton Charitable Trust presents Festival of Trees for 2025. I have 4 passes for that. I have a couple of disposable toothbrushes, and I have look at that, Valvoline instant oil change. Okay, good.
Nice.
All right, I do not have the score sheet from Two Stats and a Lie from last season.
That's all right.
Which is a shame.
Small aside, I was a counselor at a day camp, which I went to as a kid, 10 years, stayed on 4 or 5 summers after that. And we did this bit every day where everyone come together, sing songs, do announcements, and I would host sports trivia. But people love sports trivia not for the actual questions, the jokes we would tell in the lead up for the, quote, submitted wrong answers. And at the end of 2-week sessions, instead of doing sports trivia, we would hand out awards to people who had won. The awards for the wrong answers were things that the guy I did this with, we would go into our fellow counselors' cars in the middle of the day while they're busy off with kids, break into these open cars and pull out things.
And cut the brake line.
Yes.
Okay.
We would find random stuff like you just did in the backpack, and I would award Hardy's Valvoline Instant Oil Change, $25 goes to Nick, and just random assortments.
Right.
The craziest thing that we found in these cars, breaking into from people who were 16 to 22, sometimes 23, was the birth certificate of my buddy's ex-girlfriend underneath the passenger seat of his car. He had not seen this girl in years. And so naturally we awarded it to his sister and then just left it at that. I still don't know how it got there.
And why he was carrying around his ex-girlfriend's birth certificate?
So he really loved, because that girl had actually worked at the camp maybe for like one summer. We were like, oh, here we go, Alex, birth certificate. Like real, could submit this to get a passport just hanging out underneath the passenger seat.
Was it a camp for blind kids, and then you had like a Rocky Dennis type of situation there where someone came to the camp and then you fell in love with that person?
No, but they did hand out birds that had their necks taped back together. If only want a cracker.
Let me present you with this Festival of Trees
Thank
passes. There you go.
Let's talk about a hot button issue here. Trees.
Yeah, thank you. That's from the sports. That's from the Sports Hub Golf Club. Boy, you could tell my voice was failing me that day. We must have played golf earlier, and you kind of get dehydrated, and the voice starts to go toward the end of the day. That must have been a post-round interview. All right, do you want to do something on the Red Sox?
Yeah, let's
here?
talk about the Sox, because they've won 8 out of 10. They go to Chicago last night, fresh off of sweeping the Angels. And look, you felt good when they scored a run off the top, because when they fall behind by 1 or 2, it's tough. And then Cedar Rafaela says, we're not done with one.
Swings, hits a high fly ball deep to the left field corner. That one sailing back there and is gone. Cedar with number 8, a 2-run shot. Red Sox lead it 3-0. Second home run of the inning.
So 3-0, top of the second.
Offensive fireworks. Not used to it from this team.
And Payne Tolley on the hill, so you're going, okay, they're really in good shape. But we've seen some bullpen collapses here and there, and Whitlock holds on, and Slayton's coming in, and hold on to your butts. So it's 4-1 going into the top of the ninth. You'd really feel good for some insurance. And you know who had a good day before he did this? Wilson Contreras going to the All-Star game, well-deserved, and this put the Sox over the top.
3-2. Hot shot, foul just off. Now he's going to change his mind, and he's going to rule it fair. That's going to score 2 runs. Long is in, Abreu is in. That runs up a 2-run double. Wow. The third base umpire next to Seha initially ruled it foul and then changed his mind.
Well, glad that he changed his mind. So insurance there in the ninth inning for the Red Sox. Some interesting base running earlier in the game too. As
always is.
Listen, the sweep of the Angels, fantastic. That's great. You follow it up with a win there against the White Sox. That's great. Maz led off baseball reporters last night by breaking down the sweeps that they have completed this year of the Tigers and the Royals and the Angels. And what do those 3 teams have in common? They all somehow have worse records than the Red Sox. They're bad teams. Now, the sweep of the Yankees, that was fun. They were missing a couple of important guys in the lineup during that series. But lest you start thinking that this team has really got something going, when they sweep, it's almost always against a really bad team.
For sure. But I come in here in non-football season, and the thing I think I've done the most is just bash the hell out of the Red Sox. And it's because, A, this is the one team in the city I still cling to as a fan and love it. B, it's because I think they deserve it, particularly Breslow. And ownership cheaping out, we all know. But look, you win 8 out of 10. This isn't just sweeping the Yankees.
It's 9 of 11
Angels.
now.
Yeah. Like, you go back, there's a very faint pulse here. I'm not projecting. Maz is not wrong, by the way. The way winning and losing works is when you win, your record gets better and the other team records gets worse. So that's not an accident they swept teams that are worse than them. But the point is, the way the AL is, and this is why I wasn't ready to give up a month ago, though I did say the upcoming series are going to decide this. And it was like the Rays, they played the Jays, and the Yankees, of course, who they just swept. Is like there was a 20% chance of them still making the playoffs, or 16% chance. How many moments in Boston sports history would we have lost had the Sox or the Patriots or the Celtics or the Bruins. Just give it up because it went down to 15 or 14%.
I understand that, but it doesn't change my mind in terms of what they should be doing at the trade deadline.
Sell.
Okay, absolutely. All right, let's step aside here, and then we had a conversation yesterday that was instructive. It was instructive for us. I hope it will be instructive for you. We will revisit that and add to it as we continue here on Toucher and Hardy. It is Toucher and Hardy here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Andrew Callahan in this morning for Fred, who flew to Detroit last night, presumably. I wonder if he got out on time. It rained nonstop for 19 hours yesterday. I don't think it would have affected him. He's probably all right.
No, I think he's fine.
Anybody hear from Fred? By the way, Ryan Beaton, did you check in with Fred as Ryan Beaton is house/dog/cat sitting for Fred? This began yesterday. It was an interesting dynamic as Fred was leaving yesterday after the show. It is our custom to meet every day after the show, but if you're not going to be on the next day, you're not compelled to stay for the meeting. You just leave.
I'm leaving today.
Right. So Fred is standing in the doorway, and he's talking to Ryan, and he's like, "Oh, that's right. You're going to be staying at my house. All right, when do you want to come over?" And, I just said out loud, I'm like, just go now. Just go now. Go with Fred and, get the lay of the land. You've never been to his house before, and you need to, meet the dog and see where the dog food is and what to do with the cat, where you're sleeping and all that stuff. And Fred, in the moment, decides, no, and takes a key off his key ring and says to Ryan, no, just go in there and, feed the dog. The food's there, but twice a day this much, but do this with the cat and just rattles off instructions for taking care of everything in about 90 seconds and then leaves. That was it.
I wrote it all down.
Did you write it down as he was telling you all this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you went over there last night at what point?
I got there like 4:30.
Okay.
And I walked in, and
What time was Fred leaving for the airport? I thought he wasn't flying out until he goes to the airport early, though.
I think he said he was leaving around like 3 or 4, so I was gonna get there a little bit after and just take care of the pets once he left.
Yeah, because his flight was like last night at some point, like 7 or 8 or something. For a guy who shows up 2 minutes before he's supposed to for work, he gets to the airport absurdly early.
What surprised you most about Fred's house?
I don't know. I mean, it didn't really surprise me at all. It was a nice house. It's a little shared wall situation.
That's right. This is interesting, Andrew. You've heard Fred talk about before how, as a divorced man, he is required in his new domicile to have a shared wall. That this is, a law across these United States. That if you are a divorced man, your next domicile must include at least one shared wall. You have to have a shared wall either in a condominium or a townhome situation. That is what your next house is supposed to be, right? Ryan asked in a show meeting the other day, he's like, so what is this law about how you have to have a common wall? I said, what? Because Fred talks about all the time, like after you got divorced, now he has to have a common wall. Like what is that? Is that just in Newton or is that something? It's a joke, Beaton. But many divorced men end up living in a condo as opposed to a single-family home. So he didn't understand that part of Fred's living situation, the ongoing joke that Fred makes. All right, so you got the common wall thing. How's the dog?
Dog's good. I definitely scared it when I first walked in because I didn't say anything, and then I just turned the corner and he saw me and started freaking out. But after like 5
because you had
minutes,
never met the dog before,
right.
Because Fred insisted you didn't need to come over beforehand.
Yeah, but
Okay.
after like 5 minutes, he settled down.
Okay.
What'd you do to settle the dog down?
I just sat down because I took my hat off because that intimidates. That probably intimidated him. He couldn't see my face, and then I sat down because when you're standing, it's also intimidating. So
Eye level. It's good with little kids and dogs.
You've been watching Caesar, what's his name?
Caesar Milan.
Yeah, Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer.
He's the understudy. It's his backup.
Did you text photos of the pets to Fred saying like everyone's doing well?
I didn't text photos, but I did text him saying I took the dog for a walk, the cat's upstairs hiding, and everything's good.
Okay. So you got to do a walk in the rain last night.
It was pouring out yesterday.
Yeah.
And I see there's here in the studio, somebody left a Dick's Sports poncho, like rain poncho, just on the table. That would have been really nice to have yesterday.
You didn't bring a rain jacket with you?
I did, but it's not like a good one, so I still got soaked.
Okay. So you took the dog for the first walk yesterday. Did you bring everything you needed to? You had the leash. What two things do you need on a dog walk, Andrew?
A leash and a doggy bag.
Very good. Beaten, what'd you do?
Well, I definitely remembered the leash. I did not remember the dog bag.
And what happened?
So the dog pooped, and I don't want any neighbors to see me not picking up poop. So I reached in my pocket, and there was an old piece of printing paper that was there. So I took out the printing paper, and I used that to scoop up the dog poop.
Wait, white paper, 8.5 by 11, like I'm holding now?
Yeah.
So, which immediately got soaked because it was pouring rain. And what did you do?
I hope someone did see you make this effort. It's like the Costanza making the tip. I'm going to wait to put it in the jar.
Yeah.
I would have done this. Everyone can see.
And
there goes my paper. This is what I have.
This is for my paisan.
Yes. This goes, okay, I'm picking up the poop. My hands are wet. This is miserable. Honestly, he did the best he could.
He did the best he could. What did you do with the wad of feces inside the rain-soaked piece of paper?
Well, there's like a park pretty close to his house, so there was a trash can right there, and I just kind of put it in there. So.
How long did you wash your hands when you got back to the house?
Yeah, probably I had to scrub for a solid few minutes.
Did you smell your hands to see if they smelled like poop?
It wasn't too.
You did, didn't you?
You
have to.
It wasn't too poopy. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would smell.
Okay.
So you got a big dog?
I got one.
No, he's got a medium-sized dog.
Medium-sized. Okay,
oh, yeah,
that's better.
It's not. It's like a small, medium-sized dog.
Yeah, that's fine.
It wasn't too poopy.
All
now
right.
I'm thinking about the poopy smell scale.
Well, continued success on your
One last question though, because if I didn't have a raincoat and Fred had asked me to house it, first of all I'd be like, I should have brought a raincoat. I would have poked into a closet or two.
Yeah, but it would have looked like a funeral cloak on Beaton.
Would you feel comfortable borrowing a rain jacket from Fred without asking?
I'd probably feel weird about it, but if I had to, I'd probably do it.
Fred is at least 6 inches taller and 50 pounds heavier than Ryan Beaton. I don't think any of Fred's clothes are going to fit him at all.
Be more intimidating to the dog. That's why the cat still hasn't come out from upstairs.
Yeah. All right. Well, good job, Beaton. Remember the poop bag today. All right. Yesterday we got into a conversation. I don't know how, but we have the clip of it where a term was used that we have never heard before. So, Andrew, I want you to listen to this, and certain portions have been edited or bleeped out before, so you can listen to this and guess what the person said. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. I thought I put it in News Boss, but I'll pull it up here.
I've got it. You effing child. Never mind. Here we go.
Are you in or out on the lily pad and the...
Wait, what?
Okay, so we were doing an in or out segment with Joe Murray. Yes.
Are you in or out on the lily pad and the...
Wait, what? A lily pad? Nope. That is like when I first heard of slatering.
They call it a mermaid kiss.
These are all terms I didn't know that was something people do.
You do not want any backsplash at all.
And okay, have you lily padded?
I've never lily padded.
No, I'm asking Dan. Have you lily padded?
Every time. Every emergency, dude. Okay. I never know what's going to happen.
But when it does happen, it's known as a mermaid kiss.
Did you make this up? Did you make this stuff up, or did you be honest? Or is this internet thing?
Urban Dictionary: mermaid kiss, when the splash from your solid reaches the appropriate height to spritz.
Okay.
Lily padding.
All right, so Andrew Callahan, have you been able to determine what lily padding is and how if you do not lily pad, it can result in a mermaid kiss?
So we were just talking about picking up dog poop.
Yes.
So my first thoughts run to the toilet. And my thought is, okay, is a lily pad, if you were to poop in a way onto toilet paper that's already down there and it rests on the toilet paper?
Correct.
And the mermaid kiss is a little bit of backsplash of
That
water?
is correct. Yes.
All right.
So when you're engaged in that activity and some of the water splashes back up, we also learned that it is also known as the kiss of Poseidon.
Oh,
The
Poseidon.
kiss of Poseidon is essentially the same as a mermaid kiss, but these can be avoided by employing the lily pad method.
This is a humongous fall for the god of the seas that he's now literally kissing asses from the trays.
Well,
of the
that his
toilet.
name is pretty
Kiss
much
of Poseidon.
only invoked now.
Ancient Greeks are rolling over in their graves at us in this segment.
But thank you to Dan for the catalyst for all this. Who, by the way, said that every trip to the bathroom for him is an emergency and an adventure. He never knows what's going to happen.
See, that threw me because he was like, only in an emergency.
But they're always an emergency.
Always an emergency.
For caller Dan. All right, so Ryan Beaton was kind enough to go down the rabbit hole of Urban Dictionary, 99% of which cannot be repeated on the air. But we were so fascinated with Mermaid Kiss and Lily Pad that we thought, well, what have we missed out on in the last 20 years, the last time any of us looked at Urban Dictionary? It's been decades.
Oh, yeah.
Since I've gone on there.
It's like chat roulette.
Yeah, I mean, maybe to look up a term, but not just to go through the entire glossary and index and see what's on there. So there are a few new ones in here that see if you can discern what they mean. Okay, number one, we're going to go with beef walk.
A beef walk.
I will give you a hint. A beef walk is something that you do when you're in a social situation or you're around other people and something is about to happen, so you go on a beef walk.
A beef walk. I mean, is that a controlled, hurried run to the bathroom?
Oh, I'm sorry. The beef walk is when you're in a social situation dropping heavy fartillery, but that is not an option. So you go on a brief walk so that you can let out your fecal foghorn in privacy. That is what is known as a beef walk. Okay?
The people putting in the definitions at Urban Dictionary, fartillery and fecal, what was it?
I think they went to the same writing school as Mr. Skin.
Really underrated.
Yeah.
Really underutilized. So we need to get them in a higher platform.
There's a lot of puns. There's a lot of wordplay going
Yeah.
on, and it's all fantastic. All right. Not all of these are gross. There's something called a feeder. And I will just tell you, it's not gross.
Okay.
A feeder, and this has something to do with people who work out.
Is this with a T or a D?
This is a D.
A feeder.
Feeder. This is workout related.
Are you like a hype person?
No. A feeder is usually a male who likes to encourage weight gain in his partner through the consumption of food. But feeder's different from FAs. An FA is attracted to big girls, but a feeder gets turned on by making a thin girl fat or a big girl even bigger.
That's a hard pivot at the end.
It is, but it also requires going back in the Urban Dictionary, which Ryan was not willing to do. He was willing to find a few of these. He didn't want to go too far down.
How many of these come with pictures?
On the Urban Dictionary?
Yeah,
None of them.
No,
None
yeah.
of them? Okay.
No, there are no illustrations.
Feeder of the mind.
Now, here's one that relates back to something that I first heard of this term in relation to Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson.
Feeder.
No.
Oh.
The word pig is involved in this one, but instead of a purse pig, we're talking about a pit pig. What is a pit pig?
A pit pig.
Now, you know what a purse pig is.
I think I could infer.
I believe the purse pig would be in the Belichick Jordan situation. Is Bill the
gold digger?
Is Bill the purse pig? He's the pig who walks around with a purse full of
also
money.
known as a pay pig.
Okay, or a pay pig or a purse pig. So he walks around with a purse, and he's just this pig who is being used for his money. Pay pig, purse pig, I believe interchangeable. But what is Andrew, what is a pit pig?
Is it a pit? Is it like a pit master? I would think of food, somebody who's being...
Incorrect. A pit pig is simply an armpit enthusiast. typically of the scent, appearance, and touch of hairy underarms. So it can't be just a shaved pit that you like the smell of and you want to get in there and touch and smell. It has to be a hairy underarm.
You threw me with the pay pig.
Well, I was trying to give you a hint.
Is that a hint?
Yes. All right, I'm going to give you an easy one for the last one.
Thank you. Wow, this is how it feels to be on the other side of two stats and a lie, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Andrew, what is a tugger? Oh, that guy, he's a tugger.
One, who pleases themselves.
Yes. Chronically.
Can you imagine?
A chronic masturbator is known as a tugger.
Bang. If I had whiffed and that was my answer, like you just had it's a straight A student who's constantly tugging at their potential. And you're like, you would just set me up to go straight into the gutter and left me there.
If you had whiffed, I would accuse you of being a pit pig.
Yeah,
that's
would have been fair.
All right, very good.
1 for 4, 250. Put me on the socks.
Not bad. I guarantee that I will do better on two stats and a lie today because I have not been. And by the way, when we do two stats and a lie at 8:00, none of this 3 stats or 3 lie nonsense. There will be two stats and a lie.
That's a season long. That's a season long.
Which we will
feature.
not be doing this season.
Yeah, I know. You guys have made that.
We've made that abundantly clear. All right, very good. We have Brian Robb coming up a little bit later to talk more Celtics with us. But next, Mike Dussault from Patriots.com will be on to talk about, all things Patriots and the NFL. That'll be happening next here on Toucher and Hardy.
You're listening to Toucher and Tub.
Toucher and Hardy on 98.5, the Sports Hub. Andrew Callahan with us. Mike Dussault joining us in a moment. But first, I want to get to Manny in Wilmington, who had a comment on the lily pad. Yes, Manny, what is it?
Yeah, before I get to the lily pad, I just want to say, I'm going to reiterate, now that Fred's gone, I will stop for somebody backing out of a driveway, especially a commercial vehicle. That's one thing. With the lily pad, I'm not going to lily pad my own toilet in my house. The only thing I will lily pad if I need to is a porta potty. That's the only thing I'm going to lily pad. I would never do that to my toilet. Get it clogged up, and then what? And then I got to call a plumber to help him back out of my driveway? No, I would never lily pad my own toilet in my house. Just a porta potty, if that.
I understand, Manny, and if it becomes a real situation, you just hop right in the shower afterward. But
exactly,
the lily padding a porta potty, that would be a huge like kiss of Poseidon coming up, because the distance that it would have to drop, and the distance that the water or the chemicals or whatever is down there would have to travel up would be so great. I don't know that it's a real fear of mine. Is this something that's happened to you?
No, I'm saying because it's so disgusting.
Yeah.
The porta potty, I would just lily pad that.
Okay.
I wouldn't lily pad my home toilet.
I understand. All right, thank you, Manny. No,
This would be like a geyser. Straight back up.
Something from like a Hawaiian tourism video. You know, you're just looking at, a huge spray coming up. If you've got that situation going on in a porta potty, you've got other things to worry about. You may not even be concerned with the backsplash because you're not feeling great.
Got to tell you, the dumbest thing I did recently was take my phone out as I'm peeing in a porta potty. Just like the reflex, You're like, got a minute to kill.
Yeah.
And I go, if I drop this,
oh yeah,
gone.
Well, were you using?
There's no way.
Were you using the big hole? Or were you using a little side urinal? Because a little side urinal is available in most porta potties now.
It was not there.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's
so real unnecessary risk.
It's a bad porta potty. Mike Dussault only uses the highest quality porta potties. He is also a writer and content producer for Patriots.com. Hello, Mike.
Hello. I'm unfamiliar with this term lily pad as a verb. Could you clarify this for me?
I'm happy to. Lily padding is the act of placing a layer of toilet paper on the surface water of the toilet to prevent backsplash when you're going number two. And when the backsplash happens, there are two terms for it. It is either known as a mermaid kiss or the kiss of Poseidon. So in order to avoid the mermaid kiss or the kiss of Poseidon, you lily pad, and that is a preventative measure.
Wow. I'm surprised. I've never heard of this before. I've never lily padded before.
No, but
but I have been kissed by Poseidon a couple times.
I think we all have, and I think it's something you need to teach your children and teach the children well, as we all should be doing.
Or preemptively lily pad for Perillo. Just go into Gillette in the mornings, and it's just toilet paper on top of the seat and then on top of the water.
Well, on top of the seat is something else. Which
no, I know, but Paul's a guy who probably does that, don't you think?
I don't know.
I got to tell you, since we became Boston Stadium, finding places to lily pad very complicated. lot of closed doors in that place now. So, yeah, it's complicated.
How has it been? Have you been going into work every day during the World Cup?
Well, I was out last couple of weeks, but yeah, not game days. But it hasn't been too bad. We just have to park, a little farther. But Hardy, you're used to that, out in Spooky World. It's not even as far as Spooky World, so not too bad. And obviously tomorrow they'll wrap things up, and we'll see how quickly things get back to normal.
Is tomorrow the last match at Boston Stadium?
It is indeed.
Okay, all right. Well, Boston Stadium. Have all the stadiums done that, by the way? Because
yes.
Because when you go on ESPN, which has an odd relationship with the World Cup, if you listen to ESPN, their network radio programming, they play no highlights from the World Cup. The lockdown on it from Fox or from FIFA is such that ESPN doesn't play any audio highlights. But I've noticed on their website, they're listing the names of the stadiums where these games are being played by their actual like NFL naming right names. Like the one out in Santa Clara, they're calling Levi Stadium. They're playing out there, right?
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, I guess it's, for international audience trying to figure out where Levi's Stadium and Gillette Stadium and all that is. I mean, but yeah, I mean, all the signage is covered up, but that'll probably be coming down next week. So we'll get back to Gillette Stadium, as we all know and love.
All right. What else has been going on at Gillette Stadium this summer? I see that Mike Vrabel was in attendance at the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce wedding, and the report that we got from you, pretty much in the immediate aftermath of the whole Diana Rossini story, was he really appeared to be business as usual in and around the stadium. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, they're over in that new training center now, so we're not crossing paths with them as much as we used to. So, but yeah, it seemed like that. In minicamp, I mean, Braves, when he's on the field, I mean, it looks like he's in his element. That's what he loves to do. So yeah, it's counting down the last few weeks to camp. I think right now is the time where it's a little difficult trying to find things. We're all putting out our rankings, rank the position groups and all that kind of stuff, spinning our wheels till we get out there to camp. But no, it's exciting. I mean, they've done a lot of good work, I think, this offseason, and I think we're all excited to see A.J. Brown continue to grow in this offense. It's going to be pretty cool.
Mike, I've been thinking a lot about Drake May, A, because it's my job, but B, because it was such, obviously, a dichotomy between the regular season May, who were all propping up as he should win the MVP, and it was a close call with Stafford, and then what happened in the playoffs. And it's not to say, oh, which guy is he? He's both. He's a young quarterback who faced a gauntlet of elite defenses in the playoffs, understandably struggled, but the thing about his regular season, the metrics were he was good against man and zone and the blitz and this and that. He obviously has areas to improve. Of those that are harder to see, I think, what are you looking for specifically in camp? Where we know sometimes the stats aren't gaudy. He's not blowing us away the last two summers, but he did during the season. What would tell you this is a successful training camp for Drake May this summer?
Well, I mean, like you said, the ups and downs of camp are always something that are going to catch the headlines. But I mean, I'm most excited to just see a second year in Josh McDaniel's system. I think last year he was on the 101, maybe 201 track with that system. We know how much it puts on the quarterback, and so seeing him calm, cool, adjusting to what the defense is doing. I mean, I loved the thing they did in mini camp with sending him to the line with no play call. And I think that's the kind of thing that they can really accelerate his learning. And, to see him get to that point, remember Bill Belichick saying Brady got to that point in 2003 where it really, became the conductor of the offense and really being able to be calm, understand what the defense is doing. I think last year at times during the playoffs, you saw him get a little sped up, and maybe going a little bit too quick and running things that maybe he shouldn't. Maybe he should have taken the time to change the play, those kind of things. So just his overall command is what I'm looking forward to, especially with a new piece like A.J. Brown. Second part of that, of course, is just going to be the chemistry with these new pieces with Dobbs and Brown, and continuing to see even the receivers develop in this system, because we know those guys have some things on their plate post snap. So I think it's a really exciting year for Drake May. The fact that he had the kind of season he did last year, even with how it kind of sputtered at the end, I think is really encouraging. And maybe just like the biggest element of this whole season is if Drake really continues to progress in Josh's system, Josh, continues to adjust to Drake's strengths and stuff, I think you could be really on the verge of something exciting. So that's what I'm excited for, just seeing him continue to progress, looking like he's in control of this whole system.
Hey, is camp a little late this year? July, and it's not because of the World Cup, is it? Because as you just reminded me, that's all done tomorrow. July 25th seems late.
It was supposed to be later. They moved this up because they're starting on the Wednesday with the opener. Right, Mike? Like this, it was supposed to be like the 28th, 29th. That would have been late.
Yeah, there were some weird reports. I mean, we were all kind of confused. I mean, it's always kind of been that like Wednesday, Thursday thing. And now, to start on a Saturday. So, I mean, not too crazy, but definitely a little different. I think when you look at the total practice schedule, there's like 20 practices. So it's, the same deal with those joint practices with the Colts and the Eagles mixed in. But hey, I'm not complaining, Hardy. You get an extra few days to enjoy some summer weather before we have to, get out there and all sweat under the sun watching training camp, which I love, of course.
Well, I mean, we, as T-Bone from the Midday Show pointed out years ago, and he was met with immediate backlash, but I've since determined he is right. 4th of July is the beginning of the end of summer. So we are in the waning days of summer right now. So you need to enjoy as much as you can over the next couple of weeks because
don't do this.
Well, it's true. It's true. The summer has already started to end. It started ending on this past weekend. So yeah, you get out there and enjoy it every moment you can before camp begins. It's way too early, Mike, to talk about who gets the looky-loo. Who you have your peepers peeled for. Drake May, A.J. Brown, obviously the two main components there. But defensively, I know you've got a real chub for all things on that side of the ball. Is there one thing in particular that you're going to be looking at?
Yeah, I would say go to like the 13th or 14th guy on defense. That to me is what is interesting. I think if you look at their base nickel defense that they're going to run, you love everybody. I mean, it's a really good starting defense. And my question, though, is how flexible are they to go down into like the base heavy run stopping kind of packages? And how are they able to go up into, dime and maybe have some different kind of packages? Once you go down or up off of those starting 11, it starts to get interesting. It starts to get guys, like Charles Woods, who played, fairly well last year, but the Corey Durdens of the world, those guys are going to have to step up. So really, I love what they have starting defense. I'm just most interested to see if they can get one of these extra guys to step up and really earn a spot. With Marcus Jones out there as, the nickel, that whole nickel package, I love it. But the depth is what I'm interested in. And I think last year you saw a lot of development from some of these players. Lenny T blocking that field goal. I mentioned Durden. You saw some guys really start to elevate that you weren't really expecting to. I think the same thing has to happen this year, especially if, injuries happen at like linebacker. You might need somebody to step up. So just a lot of unproven depth behind the starters. That to me is going to be what's interesting, especially in those joint practices when you get to see them go against, some other teams and some other schemes and some other good players. But the depth is interesting. I think there's some battles to be won there and some opportunities for guys who, maybe we're not quite talking about right now, but to step up and earn some bigger roles.
It's a really good point, too, because when you look back at the Super Bowl, the difference was not the top of the depth chart starting talent. It was the second and third guys that the Seahawks were able to roll in to keep their defensive line fresh. We were like, they're 6 deep with starter level talent. And the fact that the Patriots were the healthiest team in football was a bigger driver than for all that everyone talked about the schedule. Like they had their best players all the time, right up until, middle of December. You can't count on that to happen again. So I think, Mike, really quickly, and then we had the most important question of the whole interview. If they stay healthy, I think they're the AFC favorites. I've called them slight AFC favorites, but it's close because Denver's deeper. You can make a case for the Bills, etc. Should the Patriots be considered the favorite in the AFC, in your opinion?
Probably not yet. And I say that respectfully because I think, like you said, I mean, it's and you brought up a great point. I mean, that's something I've been saying too. It's like it's not just that they had an easy slate of opponents, which was a factor, but they stayed incredibly healthy, and that's just something you got to assume is going to regress towards the mean. So I'm going to say no, not yet. I think this team still has something to prove that, they heard it all last year that, you got in the playoffs, you played some good teams, you got some injury breaks against your opposition with Bo Nix going out, those kind of things. So I still think they have, something to prove and to bring it together. And I look at it as this is just year 2. I mean, remember, mic'd up in Forest and Foxborough, you heard Vrabel say, we're just 300 something days into this program. This is just the start of it. So I think this team still has a little bit of a ways to go. Center that on Drake May, making progress in the system. But I'm going to say not yet. I want them to stay hungry. But I think all targets should be on the Bills, especially being in the division. Can they do it a second year in a row? Everybody's picking the Bills, to bounce back, I'm sure. But I'm going to say the Patriots, let's take that underdog mentality still and have to beat these teams because they're going to have to face Denver. They're going to have to face Buffalo a couple times. So I think that attitude will serve them well going into this season of, taking that old Rodney Harrison chip on the shoulder. Nobody believes in us.
Good company, man, right there.
Oh, yeah. All right. Do you have a phone or a computer with Google handy to you right now?
No, I don't actually.
What? Where's your phone?
I'm talking to it right now, Hardy.
You don't have a computer in front of you?
I do, but it's like my wife's, and I don't even know how to start it up.
We can multitask.
How are we going to do this then?
I didn't know there was an assignment for this.
Do you have an iPhone, Deuce?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up.
All right.
I got you.
Don't worry about going off camera for a second. We would like you to open up Google on your iPhone.
It is open.
Okay. And we would like you to type in, is it normal? And then tell us in the drop-down menu from Google what your Google says.
Oh, boy. All right. Here we go. You want the top 5?
Yes, please.
The first one is it normal to poop 5 times a day? The second one, is it normal to poop 3 times a day? Is it normal for a tattoo to peel? Is it normal to have discharge every day? Not sure. And is it normal to get your period twice a month? So there you go. I don't know what this says about me.
Mike, have you got any answers to those?
I don't think I want to know any of them.
So you, Andrew, and I both get the poop one. I have not, neither one of us have gotten the discharge one.
No, I had discharge.
Oh, did you have discharge?
Yeah, beat and clip that.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to need that later. But the menstruation questions are fascinating.
What do you think that says about you?
I don't. What it says about your Google search, your algorithm, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm just generally concerned for women's health, and I think it's a priority that we all need to make sure, even as men, to highlight. So yeah, that's I haven't been Googling those things. I just have to state for the record, but hey, there it is.
Patriots.com writer, content producer, and feminist Mike Dussault. Thank you so much for joining us, Deuce. We'll be talking to you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks. And hey, have fun tomorrow with those two crazy guys, Perillo and Hart. That should be a doozy.
I love Perillo, always have. I worked 1 year with Andy, and that was plenty. So,
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. We'll see at what point I walk out of the studio yesterday, because it happened on Patriots.com during a postgame. I just left.
A lot of pen drops. A lot of pen drops tomorrow.
A lot of pen drops tomorrow. All right. Thanks, Deuce.
See you soon, buddy.
Guys.
All right.
See ya.
Headlines here from Callahan. We're back at it here on Toucher and Hardy.
No, I had discharge.
Oh, did you have discharge?
Yeah, beat and clip that.
Sports Hub headlines.
He has spoken. Celtic superstar Jason Tatum addressed Jaylen Brown's trade.
Andrew Callahan is here on Toucher and Hardy. Fred out, traveling for the next couple of days. It's going to be a weird schedule, as Deuce just mentioned. Paul Perillo and Andy Hart will be in with me tomorrow. I think Fred is back on Friday. And then is Fred out like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week? What it?
Yeah, because I think I'm basically going back home on Friday, and then I got to be back there. Or no, I'm going home on Thursday night, and then I got to be back there like at some point Friday.
I don't care how it relates to you, Ryan. I care how it relates to the show. This isn't about your dog sitting schedule, but if that's how you remember it, number one, that's problematic. As the producer, you should be thinking this in show terms and not just where you're laying your head each night.
Fred is out. Fred is out.
Okay, stop. Beaton is affected. It's not affected. Beaton has been overcome with this random Canadian accent. That's the second time this morning and probably the 20th time in the last month. He says, out. Where is this coming from?
I don't know. I probably
What show are you watching? Who are you hanging out with?
Must have picked it up from Billy Jaffe.
No. Jaffe hasn't been on in a long time. Who are you hanging around somebody new?
Is it the dog?
I don't know where it comes from because you're the only one that picks up on it. I don't pick up on it myself.
No one else mentions this to you. Your parents don't mention it?
Actually, I think my brother made fun of me for doing it once, so now there's two people.
Does your brother listen to the show, or did he hear it himself?
No, he just heard it when I was talking to him.
Does your brother listen to the show?
No.
Why not? How old is your brother?
He's like 3 years younger than me, so 24.
Oh. You're 27?
Yeah.
Wow. He's a youthful 27, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Why didn't your brother listen to the show? Doesn't he want to hear his big brother on the air?
Well, he works early mornings, too, so I don't think he's able to put the show on at work.
What does he do for a living?
He cooks at a breakfast place.
He can't have the radio on?
I think they might listen to music. So, yeah, I guess they could have the radio on.
What time does he go into work?
Probably 5 a.m. I don't think my parents really listen either.
That's great. This is wonderful.
Should we keep going outward in the family tree to find someone who does?
Nick's father listens, even though he doesn't speak to Nick. But your dad still listens to the show, as far as I know, Nick.
Yeah, he does.
Cece, our intern today, her dad, big fan of the show. And Cece used to listen to the show before she interned for us last year. So at least there's that. Does your wife listen when you're making appearances on the show?
Yeah, she'll pop in and out. I think she read a lot more of my stories when we first started dating. That's a fact.
No. Well, they start.
But my in-laws will watch. They'll listen. My folks listen. You know what I think was going on there? Could you hear Beaton do his best to make sure he didn't do the accent again? I heard this very slight pause, some confidence leaking.
Very halted
speech.
Like,
he keeps coming back to me.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't say it.
Fred is out Monday and Tuesday.
It's not even really good now. It's still got a bit. Now you're over-pronouncing it.
You would also just hit me that the man who works on this show now, Ryan Beaton.
Yeah.
Like that's what's happened to him here, working with you and Fred. Beaton.
Oh, yes.
The man working here. Yes. Yeah.
What's really good is when he is not on the schedule. So a day that he is not on, it is Beaton off that day.
How about this?
That joke never gets old.
Girl I dated, 10, 12 years ago, a close friend whose last name, kid you not, met this person, saw their ID. Her last name was Getzoff. Getzooff.
Nice.
Nice. So OFF.
Yeah.
And when they were in school together, it would be Liz Getzoff to the principal's office. Liz Getzoff to the principal's office.
Liz Getzoff.
Yeah.
That's even worse. Let's Getzoff.
There's no, to anywhere, nurse.
You dated her for a while?
Her friend.
Oh. How'd that go? What happened?
Long distance, man.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, close to 3 years.
You keep in touch on Facebook? You check out the photos?
Just with Liz.
Okay.
See what Liz Getzoff is up to.
All right. We have 2 stats and a lie.
Oh, I have one piece of good news for you. We were talking about would you ever be like Amish, but not for 18?
Yeah.
That time period. You said I could only go back as far as the backup camera, the rear view camera, need it in my car.
Yep.
Wouldn't you know that the first backup camera was used in 1956.
What?
A Buick Centurion. Forgive me for the mispronunciation that I guarantee I just delivered to the world. The first one in the U.S. was 2002. But they were not popularized really until like the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And now mandated. So if you wanted to be Amish 98, you could do it. You just have to hunt down these old cars. But it seems like 02, 03, 04, that might...
But it's in all cars that you get to. By the way, for driver's training, at least when my daughter did it a few years ago, no backup camera allowed. You had to learn how to back up just using the mirrors and the side views, yes.
And then it gets to be a feel thing.
Yeah, I mean, I could still do it, but I don't want to. That's the one thing I don't want to be without anymore.
That's the first place I thought I would get old, that I would refuse to use it. Like I was saying it when they first were introduced, and I'm driving in like my early 20s. I'm like, I'll be looking behind me. My kids in the back seat will be like, Dad, what are you doing? I was completely wrong. I use it much as anybody else.
I never thought I used the heated steering wheel, and now I used it this morning. So it's a little chilly. I'm going to turn the heated steering wheel on. All right, let's two stats and lie will be coming up here in just a moment on Toucher and Hardy. Hold on.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Baseball season is in full swing, and you can trade every game on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every game, futures, even the all-star events. Maybe you're just looking at random matchups like today. Toronto, San Francisco. Toronto trading at 51%. That's an early one today if you want to get in on the trading early. But something might change between now and first pitch. And when the probability changes, you can trade out of your position on Kalshi because you're not going against a house. You're against peers and a live market. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app. Use the code HARDY to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk. May not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Hi, Jeff from Bursar Gas and Oil again. Are you in need of a new boiler, furnace, or oil tank replacement? Call to set up a free quote at 978-263-8752 or bursargasandoil.com. For 111 years, Bursar delivers what others promise.
All new drinks are now at McDonald's, with refreshers like the Strawberry Watermelon Refresher and the Mango Pineapple Refresher with popping boba, to crafted sodas like the Sprite Berry Blast with berry flavors and cold foam. Who knew ice-cold drinks could be so fire? 6 all-new drinks are here, now at McDonald's.
Refreshers contain caffeine.
Wow, what is all this? These screens, the food.
All for the game, bro.
Let us pitch in.
No need. I'm saving $1,000 bundling my wireless and internet with T-Mobile. I've got it all covered.
Goal! Here to score big with T-Mobile. Families save up to $1,000 a year when they bundle 5G home internet with 4 phone lines on Experience Beyond. Compared to regular rates after third line free on Experience Beyond plan with internet bundle discount via monthly bill credits and auto-pay discount. Credit stop if you cancel or change plans.
At 98.5 The Sports Hub, we love when the home teams win, especially when the team is one of our advertisers.
This is Rick Bertolami of the JB Sash and Door Company.
And this is Ron Bertolami.
98.5 The Sports Hub has been key at helping promote our Window Boys ad campaign. We are proud of our relationship with the Sports Hub. They continue to help us promote our message of supplying the very best door and window products to architects, builders, and homeowners throughout New England.
Conveniently located in Chelsea, we invite you to stop by to see a full line of Marvin windows on display. We'll show you how our door and window products can improve your home's appearance and reduce your energy and maintenance costs as well. Call JB Sash and Door in Chelsea or check out our online showroom at jbsash.com.
And thanks to the Sports Hub for contributing to the success of JB Sash.
For more information on how to advertise your company on 98.5 The Sports Hub, call 855-775-4985. 855-775-4985.
It was a case that brought Boston to its knees.
Can any of you actually solve this case?
I can, but we have to do it my way.
This summer, the chase is on.
Follow the car! I can't. They stole my car, but it's...
is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Oh boy, I guess it's time for Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Toucher on Toucher and Hardy. Andrew Callahan, normally here with us every week during football season. Kind enough to not only be here for all 4 hours today, but also come prepared with 2 stats and a lie. Now, 2 stats and a lie, season-long competition, which Fred Toucher, and John Wallach will compete against each other and try and discern which of the 3 bits of information is a lie, which 2 are statistically true. But it's no fun just playing one-on-one. So instead, today, we will employ the services of our unpaid intern, Cece. Hello, Cece.
How you guys doing?
Really good. Are you familiar with 2 stats and a lie?
I am. I was interning here last summer, so I was in all the time listening to it. So I'm honored to be here today on this side playing the game.
Now, Cece, when you were just a passive observer or listener of 2 stats and a lie, were you able to figure out which was the lie more often than not?
Actually, yeah. I remember I was with Adam, and Adam and I would have our little own competition going to see what.
And he was terrible at it, wasn't he?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was awful at it. All right.
Wait, did you like the season-long bit where there were occasional 3 lies?
Yes, that was good.
They hated
it's
it.
not
It comes
good.
off as crusty,
Hardy, you gotta
old
switch it
man
up
and
once in a
change.
while.
Okay, well, you know what? Switch it up in a different way. But the 3 lie thing, because it led to too much monkeying around with the scorekeeping at the end, and people guessing 3 lies just so they could get the 3 points and move up and down in the standings.
Well, you're just mad you got duped.
I did get duped, and I didn't care for it, but I also thought it was dumb, and that's why I didn't like it, because it was stupid.
See, Wallach doesn't share this opinion because it benefited Wallach.
Yeah.
You two were mad that you were falling
for
behind him.
once in Wallach's life, something worked out for him. So, yeah, of course he's going to like it. Forget it. We're not doing it. We're not doing
His
the 3
bird
lines.
brain somehow worked.
Exactly. Yeah, let's all pick on Wallach because he's not here. Let's do this one today.
2 stats. 1 the 1 the 1 lie. 2 the 2 stats. 1 lie, 2 stats, 1 lie. Now come on, Andrew. Tell us 2 statistics from the game. But also please tell us 1 lie. Unless it's one of those 3 weeks where you'll tell us 3 lies.
But that isn't this week. You have assured us this will not be a 3 stat or a 3 lie week. It is 2 stats and 1 lie.
Yeah, regular edition. But I mean, we can't scrap that music forever. If we change the rules, and we can never hear that again.
Nah, it's too good. We may still use it even if we're not doing it.
All right, we have a theme this week. Normally, these are all Patriot-centric, but in the offseason, we have a little bit of fun. So this is a Patriots World Cup hybrid edition of 2 stats and a lie.
Oh well, for that, now we need the official theme music.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's do this. It takes 2 stats from the other night. And 1 lie, see if you can get it right.
Nick is going to participate, and Ryan is going to participate. This is going to be a 4-way competition.
Love it.
All right.
So this is Nick grown through the glass.
What, Nick? You're participating.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was your idea to have Cece involved. I'm like, that's great. We'll have someone in studio with us, but I think we should all participate.
Okay, that's great.
All right. Is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem. Andrew's looking at me like I think it's a problem.
Well, you had a look on your face.
This is my face. This is my face.
It's going to require you to listen to and participate in the show that you work on. Is that okay?
I love that idea. I love it.
Go ahead, Andrew. World Cup / Patriots hybrid 2 stats
and a lie. Number 1, Erling Haaland has scored more times at Gillette Stadium than N'Keal Harry. Number 1, Erling Haaland of Norway has scored more times at Gillette Stadium than N'Keal Harry.
Okay.
Number 2. According to SeatGeek, the cheapest pair of tickets to Messi's next match, so Argentina's next match, are more expensive than the cheapest pair of Super Bowl tickets were the morning of Super Bowl Sunday. So the cheapest tickets to the next Argentina match with Lionel Messi are more expensive than the cheapest tickets were to the Super Bowl the morning of Super Bowl Sunday.
The Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl.
Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl.
Okay.
According to SeatGeek. Number 3. The average European soccer player runs more yards during a match than Drake May has passed for his entire NFL career.
Oh.
The average European professional soccer player runs more yards during a match than Drake May has passed for his entire career.
Dang, these are tricky.
Okay. All right. I have them all. Have you been taking notes, Cece? You just remember these off the top of your head?
No, I remember them on the top of my head.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can go first.
All right.
Wow. Into the cauldron.
See, I'm a pro, even though I don't usually play this game.
Uh-huh.
All right, so the last two are tricky. But I think I'm going to go with the...
Should have been writing them down. Should have been taking notes. Rookie mistake. Intern mistake.
I think she's got her phone. I think she's got some notes. Notes.
Because I just...
what are you, Gen Z?
Yes.
Get a pen and get a piece of paper. Gen Z.
See,
all right?
Gen Zers type things out.
Yeah,
Gotta go with the times.
Yeah, and look at you.
But she was trying to tell us that she was raw dogging 2 stats and a lie. Just no notes.
Fiddling and fumbling around because you're...
A mix of both.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to say the last one.
The average European soccer player runs more yards than Drake May has career passing yards.
Is that in the NFL or is that in college? Or
NFL career.
NFL career? Okay.
Good question.
So, all right, I think that was true. And then I'm going to say you know what? I'm going with the middle one. The second one. That's the lie.
Okay. So, Lionel Messi, the get-in price according to SeatGeek for Messi's next match is more expensive than the cheapest Super Bowl ticket on the morning of the Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Seahawks.
Yes.
You're saying that's the lie?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Beaten?
Well, N'Keal Harry was terrible, so that one has to be true. The Messi tickets, I believe, are completely 100% expensive. And then Euro soccer, I'm going to go with the third one is false. There's too many numbers going on. I think he's trying to trick us here.
Okay. I am with you on one of the things you just said, but I'm not going to say which until we hear from young Nicholas, who I'm sure was taking copious notes. You were taking.
He's got him. Look at him waving a packet of notes.
Now, more. What is going to be more interesting for Nick is his reasoning. So let's hear it, Nick. Just and talk it out. Take as much time as you need.
Well, I'm gonna start with 3. The average European player runs more yards than Drake May has thrown passes, which is correct, right? I got that one. I wrote it down correctly. I think that's a tricky one, and so I'm going 3-1. Okay, so I might go with this one as the lie, but then also looking at the cheapest tickets. That's pretty close. I think that might be a lie too, or it might be true. Who knows? And so I'm in between those two, and I think I'm gonna go with number 3.
Okay,
that's my reasoning.
Really good.
Thanks, man.
Really solid.
Full play-by-play right there.
So your number 3 is the lie.
Yes, him and Beaton are on number 3.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. First things first. We all agree that the N'Keal Harry now it's not number of points, it's scores, right? So if N'Keal Harry got in the end zone 3 times and Holland has scored 2 goals at Gillette Stadium, then that one would be a lie.
Correct.
Okay. The Lionel Messi ticket, I believe 100% is true. I believe that is more expensive than the Super Bowl ticket because you said the morning of the Super Bowl, and the ticket prices actually go down the closer you get to the game. So the morning of the Super Bowl, the ticket price had probably dropped to the point where it is now below that of the get-in price for the Lionel Messi ticket. So I believe that one is true. What Beaton and Nick and CC failed to do was actually provide any numbers with regard to this third one here. So let's think about this. Drake May passing yards so far in his career. Now, he didn't play a full season in his first year, but he probably still had somewhere around, I'm going to say, 3,000 passing yards in his first season. And he went over that in the next season. So let's say he's, again, I'm just spitballing here. I might be way off. But I'm going to say around 7,000 career passing yards. Okay? How do you feel about that, Beaton?
I think that's got to be pretty close.
Okay. Do you think a European soccer player in an average match runs 7,000 yards, takes what would have to be at least 7,000 steps in 90 minutes? I don't think so. I think it's lower than that. And if you're just talking about this doesn't include warm-up time because they all wear those sensors on their chests and all this stuff, right? So it's just the amount of moving during the actual game. Regulation, or are we including extra time? Just an average match. You don't know.
Average match.
It also depends on the player, too. I mean, more players are running.
Messi probably doesn't get more than 500 steps in a game. I mean, that guy just stands still. But both Beaton and Nick think that one is the lie. I'm going to be a sport. I don't think. Oh God. See, I've talked myself in and out of it. I'm gonna go with number one, just because I don't think a European player runs as much as you think, or at least think about that. 7,000 steps over the course of 90 minutes. That's a lot, and that's how many yards he would have to, assuming that like one step is a yard. I'm gonna go with number one is the lie.
All right, I'm going to repeat them one more time and then reveal the answer. Ready?
Okay, yes.
Number one, Erling Haaland has scored more times at Gillette Stadium than N'Keal Harry. Number two, according to SeatGeek.
And everyone thinks that one is true, so I think that's the lie. Go ahead.
The cheapest pair of tickets to Messi's next match are more expensive than the cheapest pair of Super Bowl tickets were on the morning of Super Bowl Sunday. Number three, the average European professional soccer player runs more yards during a match than Drake May has passed for his entire career.
And so far, I say the N'Keal Harry one is a lie. Cece says that the ticket price is a lie. Beaton and Nick say that the passing yards versus the soccer player yards is the lie.
Well, fellas, it's good to be back. But I shouldn't say fellas because we have a lady in our presence. And that lady is correct.
Come on now.
CC.
There is great value in not giving it too much thought. And look.
You got Fred-itis so bad.
And you called me a rookie, Hardy. Come on.
Beginner's luck.
You know what? Cece, be honest. You didn't give it a lot of thought. Show me your notes that you were allegedly taking on your phone. Can you show them to me? Do they exist?
Do we need to get her oven mitts?
They're blank. Because I was pulling it up because I realized I was like, maybe I should be taking notes, but then
you weren't Googling any statistics in the middle of this, were you?
Of course
because
not.
that's not allowed.
No. Scout's honor.
All right. Let me show me the notes.
There's nothing.
Wait, can we say
Yeah.
Scout's honor unless you were a scout? Because if you
So
were
you
not a
weren't
scout,
taking
CC,
notes.
that is further just dishonoring yourself.
You're not taking notes.
No.
No.
Told you, raw dog to 2 stats only.
Yeah. Give it very.
'cause I'm a pro.
Gave it very little
told
thought.
you.
Appropriate amount of thought. You went too far.
Yeah,
you were getting there. I felt like
you overthought it. See, that's the problem. You can't overthink.
he just cares. I love that you care so much.
All right.
Sometimes it works against you.
All right,
Should we run? Should we run these down?
Yeah, give us the actual.
So
numbers.
I almost did this to you, but you hate the either or even, meaning Erling Haaland has scored more times at Gillette Stadium than N'Keal Harry. You said if N'Keal has scored 3 times, that would be incorrect. That was a completely accurate statement. If he had also only scored 2 touchdowns, then they would have scored the same number. But N'Keal Harry had 1 touchdown at home in his career as a Patriot.
Wow.
And elsewhere, he played for the Bears for a hot second.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland had 2 goals, 1 more than N'Keal Harry. According to SeatGeek, the cheapest pair of tickets to Messi's next match, which was part of my framing here, if I'm being honest about the trickery, are just over $1,800. Even as prices did descend, the 2 cheapest tickets, according to SeatGeek, in the morning of the Super Bowl, and there's a Reuters article about this, were over $3,600.
For the Patriots Seahawks Super
Patriots
Bowl?
Seahawks Super Bowl. They went down precipitously from 6,000 when the matchup was set and got almost 50% less
I mean, apologies to
over the course of 2 weeks.
Pat's Nation, but was this like a must-see Super Bowl? I mean, it was. Like,
I mean, we haven't been back in a while, and
Quick flight
it was a
for
rematch
Seattle,
of the
history.
Seattle Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess for
Super
the
Bowl 49.
it was probably the Seattle fans who were making it more expensive than the
True, yeah.
Patriots fans.
Any guesses right now about the cheapest get-in for the World Cup final? Because it's more than 36, and I'll tell you that.
Oh,
Right now. We don't know who's there.
yeah, it's got to be at least $4,000.
Way more than that.
$9,000.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
$9,000. Number 3. This according to an official study based mostly on the 2016 Euro Cup. The average player ran 6.4 miles during a match.
I don't believe that.
Drake May has thrown for, including the playoffs, about 7,400 to 7,500 yards, which comes to 4.2 miles.
Okay, so by the way, my calculus in Drake May passing yards was pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Really
That was like on the money.
Regular season, he's about 6,700.
And so how many? But you didn't say. So how many steps does that equate to for the?
I don't know about steps. I just put it in yards so they were both the same. But whether you go yards or meters or miles, the miles is the smallest number. So it's still about 50% more. If you were to take all the passes Drake May has completed and you put them in a row, right, in a straight line, a soccer player is running an extra 2 miles after that over an entire match, just bounding around. And it does depend on the position, which is a great point by Cece, because goalies are chilling.
I don't know that. I don't know that you did all the math on this.
Well, you can do it. We can do it during the break. But I was
Hardy
checking.
doesn't want to admit that he lost to me.
Yep.
She's towing a very fine line. Doing a good job of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Andrew's got 2 stats. Andrew's got 2 stats. But he's got one line. But he's got one line. Andrew's got 2 stats. Andrew's got 2 stats. But he's got one line. But he's got one line. Woo! Come on, girl.
6.4 miles. They're saying they're running
Yeah.
an average match. I don't believe it.
I'll send you the study.
I don't believe it.
I can believe it. I mean, when I used to play soccer, up and down the field,
You know what?
entire game.
I feel
and I
ba-
played midfield.
Okay, I feel better about
You
it.
run the most. Over 7 miles.
I'd feel better about it if you would use that as part of your calculus. But you just sat there taking no notes, barely paying attention. You said, I think 2 is the lie. And you were right.
Yep.
Maybe she'll be the twist this year, like a lifeline. You can call CC once to
Yeah.
bounce some ideas off of her.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Phone a
that
friend.
is-
What are you doing every Thursday at 8:50 a.m. for the entirety of the football season?
Probably sleeping.
Okay.
But I'll wake up just to help you guys.
Yeah, just leave your ringer on. All
Yeah.
right, thank you. Congratulations, Cece. Whatever. That doesn't even count. toward
Finally
anything.
beat Hardy at something.
Doesn't even count. Doesn't even count for anything. Andrew Callahan, thank you. We'll continue. Brian Robb going to join us next here on Toucher and Hardy. Hold on.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps. They'll be right back on the Sports Hub.
stuff he said. And he brought up the 35% of the max contract. That wasn't a huge surprise. The usage line he brought up, I thought, was a bit telling in terms of like, we maybe think that if we share all his field goal attempts per game, spread it around a little bit more. Once Jason Tatum's back, maybe it's not guaranteed to be a better solution for us, but at least it could be something they think could build into a better long-term ceiling with some subsequent moves to come. But yeah, the why, it's going to be a tough sell until we see what comes next with Paul George and these picks.
Okay, just very briefly, and then I'll let Andrew go. But do you think it has more to do, or at least something to do, with some negative aspect of Jaylen Brown, and that's why it feels so, I guess, underserved when it comes to an answer as to the trade? Is there something that they are just unwilling to say at this point about Jaylen Brown, and that was one of the components?
I don't think it was anything too particular about him. I think, honestly, it's like we don't think he's worth this contract, period. And he's going to be one of the highest paid guys in the league next year. If he was making $30 million, probably even $40 million, I think he'd still be here. But he's not, and the contract's just going to go up and up from here, Hardy. So when you factor that in with the reality that I do think you wonder how much he would have been able to adapt back into the number 2 role next to Jason Tatum next year, and they'll take away. I would imagine they wanted to take away some of his freedom in terms of his shot selection and how much time the ball was going to be in his hands. When you're trying to do that and also are dangling him out in the trade at the same time, like this, obviously, which they were going to have to clearly do a ton of damage control on, having to do both of those things while dealing with a contract that obviously didn't have much value as it was, I think maybe it was just to the point where it's like we just have to rip off the Band-Aid, because could we come back from this and Memphis, this shirt, was it going to be worth the time and effort we had to do when we're going to have to do it in a year anyway? Perhaps. So let's just do it now, despite the fact that the return obviously does not look good for the short term.
So, Brian, this might be impossible to say, but as we discussed this, I think we've established it was neither just the contract and the fact they'd have to pay him and Tatum 70% of their cap, which you go through modern recent history, only the 22 Warriors have done that and still won a championship. And, of course, that franchise is the reason we have all of these aprons and things that are difficult to explain. But it was also what you just described. Like, it was untenable, they felt, whether it's culture or the return or adjustment of roles. It was not one or the other. It's kind of these collection of factors, correct?
Yeah, I would imagine it was a combination of all those things.
Okay, so then is it fair to say that, they lose in embarrassing fashion against the Sixers? Everyone's kind of dealing with the shockwaves of this. Even in that moment, like, they knew Jaylen Brown's contract, but it doesn't seem to me that they knew then that they had to move on, or is that unfair?
Like right after the series you're saying?
Because, again, the money didn't change suddenly. What changed were the other factors that, in my mind, kind of pushed us over the edge, but obviously you're much closer to this than me.
Yeah, no, I think the reality is once they signed him to this contract, I think a few years ago, Andrew, at least when I saw this contract piece was signed, I think back in 2023, you knew I would have been shocked if Jaylen Brown ended that contract on the Celtics, because this was coming down the pike, whether they won or lost this year. Having 70% tied up in the cap with 2 guys is a huge burden, and unless those guys are at top 5, top 10 perennial NBA level, like, it's tough to justify. So I do think that they looked at a lot of options on the table. I don't think they just looked at trading Jaylen Brown. I think they looked at other guys on the roster to kind of test the market to see what's out there. But when you have, like, most of the rest of the roster makes like under $10 million a year. So if, like, you're making a big change, if you want to be able to give yourself quote unquote optionality, it comes down to, okay, Jaylen Brown or Derek White. And I think they clearly like the long-term with Derek White better. They clearly like the price point a lot better than Derek White compared to Jaylen Brown. So as I think it became apparent to them, probably after a month or so into the offseason, that's when the Giannis stuff started to pick up. I think that's when they got serious about saying, all right, what could we offer for Giannis? What is actually out there for Jaylen Brown, period? And then it got very public very quickly. and I think Suitors started dropping off here and there. You wonder again how much Jaylen Brown's had his impact on what type of teams are interested in him, period. And then when push come to shove, like the Sixers were one of the last teams, if not the only last team standing that had a compelling offer, and here we are.
It's still, so much of this still doesn't jive with me in terms of the money, because and I understand about the extension with Jaylen Brown versus what Paul George's number is going to be going forward, but still it's a huge chunk of money for Paul George coming in. And I think we're starting to get the answer on this, but I got to ask this question for Fred, because is the rest of the league kind of going along with the same thinking that the Celtics have about Jaylen Brown right now, is that he is just not that top tier money guy. And the reason why the market was so soft on Jaylen Brown is because the rest of the league feels the same way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. 100%.
All right. So we've got that covered. We've got the moving on from Jaylen Brown and the two guys taking up that much money on the roster. That's fine. I guess for me, the only question that really remains is why couldn't they have just either waited it out or waited for something other than to that team that you're going to have to play, a team that now is rumored to be one of the three that is looking at LeBron James, and could be an absolute nightmare for every team in the East, but especially you after you traded your best, or in some arguments second best or best player to that team. Why did it have to be to them? Did they think that nothing was going to be available there at the end of the year or at any other point?
It had to be, because I'm with you, Harry. Was the most perplexing part of this deal to me when it came out. Being like, why do you have to do it right now? Like, the Paul George's contract is one of the worst in the NBA period. So the Sixers are never going to take that part of it away, and they would have been happy to give a first round pick with it to get off it with any team in the league. So from a net asset situation here, you didn't gain much, and it's hard to foresee that offer getting much worse from Philly down the line. But if that was your only offer, or your only offer that you felt good about, could they have a change of heart in a month or two?
Right.
If you take it into the season? That's the question. I think the Celtics
what was they're going to offer drop to? They're going to take away the 2 second-round picks? Oh, no. Heaven forbid you don't have those. You don't have those in your hip pocket.
Well, how about this, to B-Rob's point? Like, if the Sixers were trying to get off of Paul George, they have to attach one of the first-round picks to do so, to incentivize any other team to take it. So what you really traded and got for Jaylen Brown was 1 first and then the 2 seconds. And, of course, Paul George is on your team.
Yeah. But you're not going to be able to move Paul George anyway, even if you include a first.
No, and that's his
and that's maybe like a year from now. Maybe they will be able to. It's easier to move it a year from now than it was with Jaylen's contract. That's 1 year less.
Yeah. When we talk about optionality here, there's so much. This is the last thing for me. Like, I also think, if Brad's into synonyms at all, the thing that is a little bit more honest about this is a margin for error with the roster building, right? Because the downside of having 70% of your cap tied up in 2 players, that you have no margin for error. Every other draft pick, the cheap contracts, the low-level guys, the trades, all have to be perfect in terms of fit and success. You cannot miss on another 5% of your cap, or you're playing with fewer cards than everyone else in the NBA where the margins are so thin. And I think in that, he's going to need another year or two to build this back. And I don't know what the next move is, but it's probably too far away down the road to see. He at least, though, kind of widened the lanes here in that we can miss on an extra pick because we got 4 extras. We're going to have a little bit more money in 2 years. So if we do spend and miss, like every GM does, they can do that. Wherein if they had Tatum and Brown, they couldn't miss on anything because of how much money was tied into those two.
Exactly. I think Andrew, that because... And I do think the next big move is going to come within a year. Like, if it's not this during the season, it's going to be next summer, because that is the window for Jason Tatum here. Like, you can't mess around here and take too long to build this thing back up or get the ideal next piece or multiple pieces that would maximize this team's core with Tatum. So Paul George, he obviously is a huge injury risk. He's 36. He played well last playoffs. He outplayed, I thought, Jaylen Brown in that series. Now, that's rationale for a deal? No. But I think this is a situation where Brad Stevens, there's maybe 5, 6 like GMs around the league that I think have the capital, if you will, as an executive to actually make a move like this that looks like a step back on the surface. But
yeah,
Brad's done that in the last 5 or 6 years. He has not missed on a lot. And so now he's straight up saying here, I think this is the best basketball decision for us moving forward. And I think they knew that a lot of heat was coming for this. And it's going to come down to how quickly this team, is able to refortify around Tatum, how much better the young guys get, and what is that next move going to be, and how much it raises this team ceiling.
Any shot in the dark guess? I know it's July 8th, 2026. This isn't totally fair to you. But, like, if I'm playing 2K, B-Rob, and I see LaMelo Ball is now on the Timberwolves roster, I go give him 3 months with Ant Edwards for Ant Edwards to be like, you know what? It is pretty cold in Minnesota. I would like to go somewhere slightly warmer in a shade of green, and I would like to leave town.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna.
He's coming to Boston because it's so much warmer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
or just LaMelo Ball is
Okay.
not throwing the ball around here and playing circus basketball around me. I don't know, but that's the big move, right? You're not doing collection of assets, develop players in the next 2-3 years with Tatum. You need someone in the door now.
You know what? I'm sorry,
All
B-Rob. We ran really late here. We can't go down this rabbit hole. But you mentioned the window for Tatum, and that just got me all pissed off again. It's not a 10-year window. You're giving up. I would say 20% of his window right now for this boneheaded trade that absolutely benefits Philadelphia. No one is looking at this as anything other than huge win for Philadelphia. What a head scratcher from Boston. And oh yes, in the process, you're giving up a full year of Jason Tatum, as he is going to be 30 by the time a year is done with this deal. Is he 20?
Correct.
Yeah, 29, 30. Forget it. I still don't have an answer.
You up.
I know. I still don't have an answer. I don't know why they did it. I don't know. All right. Thanks, B-Rob. Good stuff.
Good chat with you, buddy.
All right. Appreciate it. We're late. We got to keep moving here. And then Seth with us at 9?
At 9.
Seth Wickersham will join us at 9 o'clock. Stay with us here on Toucher and Hardy.
Sports Hub headlines.
He has.
Ron coming to the spot.
The Sports Hub.
Ticket not punched.
Hardy.
No, the ticket's not punched. You got a bunch of stuff wrong when you talk. So much for this country.
Toucher and Hardy.
I guess this country's a bunch of buffoons that don't know the rules.
You idiot. The Sports Hub.
Me joining us here in a few minutes. I have to ask you something. This is more age-related, more than anything, Andrew, because you're a man in your, early 30s?
Turning 35 later this month.
Okay, all right. Does the Jackass franchise mean anything to you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. I wasn't sure what the cutoff would be because I took my 15-year-old, soon-to-be 16-year-old son to see Jackass Best and Last. And he knows of it. He's seen clips of it, but never watched the show as he wasn't of an age to really enjoy it. And I fear that some of it is lost on him.
Wait.
And I think it's a generational thing. I'm not sure why, but it is not lost on you.
So no, it's not. I remember watching it on TV, and obviously all the movies to come out. But this is something I will go to see with my dad and have. Like I think the last Jackass movie I saw with my dad. I don't see it as an age thing though. That's really interesting because like slapstick is timeless, and this is more like slap dick comedy because the nut shots are just endless.
Yeah.
And
a lot of nudity.
Yeah. Aside from that, man, like it's just you kind of know what you're getting into. So he just didn't find it didn't tickle him. Because Best and Last, here's over the years our best stuff.
Right. Which, from just like a film review perspective, not great. There was a little too much of the best in there. I would have liked to have seen, some new bits, a few more new bits thrown in as opposed to some of the stuff that I don't think deserved to be on the best of reel. But it kind of reminded me of watching it with my dad, who, if he were alive now, God, I think he'd be turning 90 this year. Yeah. But I remember watching it with my dad, like way back in the day, and he would laugh at it. I would just be, home from where I was living and like, oh, let's watch Jackass for a minute. And he just wouldn't understand. He'd be like, he would laugh, but he'd say like, wait a second. No, why are they doing this? So, because they're jackasses. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I think my son had a similar reaction. Like, why? Why are they doing it? I'm like, because so that we are entertained by their jackassery. There's no plot.
Was it too cringe?
There's no reason. I think it was at times too cringe for him. I mean, like some of the more, painful stuff was like too cringe.
That's when I'm not laughing. I'm like, oof, that just I can't watch.
Right.
I got to look away. And it's not often, but usually the other bits, I'm right there. Like, yeah, keep playing them.
But he asked me afterward, he's like, are those guys like okay?
No.
And I said, well, number one, no. But I said, Steve-O was in the studio a few months ago, and he's great. Like, fully with it and, living his best life. And, he's healthy and touring and doing the thing. I think, well, we all see what happened to Bam, and we know what happened with Ryan Dunn. I think Knoxville, in terms of the guys who are like still active, might be dealing with like more effects of this than anyone right now. I think the multiple, concussions and the injuries to him over the years have taken their toll on Knoxville more than anyone.
I think you got to wear him down, your son.
Just subject them to more Jackass?
Yes, find the ones that worked and dive into those.
Yeah.
Play more, find some clips, or do it on YouTube. Maybe it was the movie setting. Does he like to see movies anyway? He just didn't get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like I need to see it in a real format.
And I thought about doing this. I need to pull up the opening sequence of Jackass Forever when they're just doing the ramps and they're putting the ramp on each other's bodies and jumping various vehicles over, using each other as the prop up for the ramp. To me, that's one of the funniest bits they've done in any of the movies, and it's simple and it's just
anytime
awesome.
Knoxville's in the old man costume and just something bad happens, or his the fake testicles falls to the floor, and then because it's the same thing where does he watch? This is much lower level, but Impractical Jokers,
No.
Okay, that whole show is like just shame and
Yeah,
embarrassment,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
watching
yeah,
for
yeah.
the reactions that they have.
Seth Wickersham is ready, so we will get ready here with a quick headlines and a quick break, and then we'll be back with Seth Wickersham, who has an amazing piece on Sean Payton and the Broncos and something Bill Belichick related. We'll do that next. Hold on.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
Sound advice. Have joint pain? Call 833-GO-PROLO or online at Boston Prolotherapy.
Responsibly, 2026 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
This hour of Toucher and Hart. Cyprus and Morocco in the quarterfinals. Then Spain versus Belgium Friday at 3. Norway versus England and Argentina, Switzerland to wrap up on Saturday. And last night at the Newton Community Stage in a Q&A, Jason Tatum finally addressed the Jaylen Brown trade, saying, among other things, quote, "It's tough, but it just makes you appreciate the moments in time that we had. Obviously, it came to an abrupt ending, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't super successful." Those quotes courtesy of Celtics blogs. These Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. To celebrate America's 250th birthday, kids eat free now through July 16th with every adult entree purchased. You gotta love the nines. I'm Andrew Callahan for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next headlines in 30 minutes.
This is what happens when analysts take over the game, take over the sport.
This is where you talk sports.
It happens all the time.
The Sports Hub.
My buddy.
With friends like these.
To climb up a tree.
You know.
We're the best friends you can be, my buddy and me.
Now, more of your best morning buddies. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
It is Toucher and Hardy with Andrew Callahan with us this morning. Fortuitous because I believe there's a relationship with Seth Wickersham that allowed us to
He's kind
procure
to
him
me.
this morning.
He's atypically kind.
Seth Wickersham, of course, senior writer at ESPN. Is it fair to say that Andrew counts you as a friend, Seth, or is he pushing it by saying that?
I mean, I'm floored that he says I'm atypically kind. So,
Okay.
I
That's
mean,
what
I
an
might just
atypically
change
kind
my
person would say. Yeah.
I might just change my Twitter bio to Seth Wickersham, atypically kind, and just kind of leave it at that.
Well, let's start with this, Seth. As this piece dropped, and if you're a fan of Sean Payton, as I am, you're immediately going to read it anyway. Sean Payton's second chance inside the Denver Broncos Super Bowl quest. I believe this dropped yesterday, but there is one component of it that caught the attention of Patriots fans specifically about something that almost happened. I'll let you describe it as you wrote about it, but this was fascinating. This is what caught everyone's eye initially.
You're talking about the Belichick thing, right?
Yes. The Bill Belichick, the notion that when Sean Payton took over in Denver, he had an idea that, I don't know if he presented it to ownership or not, but Seth, why don't you describe this scenario?
So he was pissed that Belichick got shut out of another job. I mean, I think that he just felt, he always says Bill should be in our league. And so we're talking late winter 2024. He's been in Denver a full year. And he basically was like, what if I stepped down and was assistant head coach, ran the offense, we hired Bill, and Bill coached the team however many seasons it took for him to break the record. And I think that Bill and Sean are friends. I don't think that they're best friends, but there's a mutual respect there. And there's also a mutual trauma that they've had from working under Bill Parcells. And so this idea was more than a fleeting thought. It was less than a full proposal. At the end of the day, it would have been really difficult and very complicated to get done. And I don't even know if Belichick, would have done that. But I think that it shows, number one, the respect level that he has for Bill Belichick. And number two, I think that it's very atypical, while we're using that word, for a sitting head coach, especially one who, has won more games than all but 10 people, to even consider relinquishing the throne. So that's why I thought it was interesting and cool. And, he used some of Bill's notes in the lead up to the Bills playoff game.
Yeah. And I thought it was fascinating in that there was so much respect there and, so much, I guess, caring about the record for Bill Belichick. And hearing you describe it like you did, Seth, no, he just thought Bill should be coaching in the league, which I think a lot of his contemporaries thought also. But number one, caring about the record. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more. I said, man, I'm not sure that Bill, has the chops necessarily to be, a head coach again of an NFL team. But if he had Sean Payton as his offensive coordinator, and they could implement like a dual system there that was a Belichick-Payton hybrid with Payton running the offense, my God, what a football team that could have been. Like, that's really scary to think about. That may have, I don't know if it works as Bill just coming in and hiring Matt Patricia all over again and hiring his buddies, but if he's got Payton there as the OC.
Speaking of trauma,
oh
please.
my God, that may have been really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you're looking at like, Bill lending his expertise anywhere possible, but also, managing the game. Sean Payton calling plays, Vance Joseph calling the defense. I think that would have been a pretty good team.
Yeah, indeed.
So it's funny, Seth, because I think, as stories like this that you had literally spent months on. And for folks who don't know, we're not bringing Seth on just to talk about Bill Belichick, which was the one nugget that you have to get for the social post, just for the video or the clip or the Adam Schefter tweet, in case this is a story that cannot be defined by any one of those grabs. And this is unparalleled access in a story I've never seen before. You were with Sean Payton for 15 days in every meeting, dinner, ice cream, everything there to bring access in a way that the Bills and Patriots would have killed for before they played the Broncos when you're with them. What I want to know is more about the modern day Patriots and how the Broncos saw them in the lead up to that. And you have nuggets here about Drake May, but the Broncos seem to be pretty confident in their plan of, making sure he didn't escape the pocket, and that would kind of key the game. What else might have been on the cutting room floor in that respect with May?
Yeah, so I was in, yes, I spent, the entire playoff run, witnessing and embedded with the Broncos. Ironically, the Patriots, when they came to Denver, were staying at my hotel. I thought it was really funny. I came back from the Broncos Saturday night meeting and noticed all these Patriots. And I was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh my gosh, they're at the hotel. And then after the game, later on, they were celebrating because I think they got snowed in that night.
Yep.
Which was kind of ironic. I think I shared an elevator with Zolak at one point. But so the Patriots beat the Texans, and the scout flies a red eye back to Denver, and I'm in the scouting meetings for offense, defense, and special teams. And I actually still have the scouting report somewhere in this office. But, they were detailed breakdowns, I think, of tendencies. Like, for instance, Drake May tended to run the ball more when he was pushed out of the pocket to his left than throw. Things like that I thought were really interesting. And yeah, I mean, look, the Broncos were in a state of kind of a football crisis in the sense that they had lost their starting quarterback with 3 plays left in the divisional playoff win. And I was with Sean Payton when he found out that Bo Nix was out for the season. I mean, you're talking about a swing of emotions when you win a playoff game and 15 minutes later you learn that your starting quarterback is out. And so it was a tense, interesting, energetic week. But the theme all along, the entire week, I think Denver felt good about its defense matching up against New England's offense, but they knew that they had to hit Drake May because they thought they could force fumbles. Drake didn't fumble that game. And they knew that if they could not let him scramble. And obviously the one real drive that the Patriots put together in the third quarter where they got the field goal that ended up winning the game. I mean, he had a 28-yard scramble in that sequence. And so, that was the thinking going into it. They had a lot of respect for the offense, but I think they thought, look, if we can hit Drake, the ball's coming out. But regardless, we've got to keep him contained. And they really they did it decently, but they didn't do it quite well enough. And that was one of the things that I think determined that game.
Yeah, as Andrew said, the access to Payton during this time that allowed you to write this piece is really fascinating. I've only had the chance to talk to him once, Seth, but I tell people, who are interested in things like this, the man has a presence about him that kind of an undefinable leadership quality. When he was with me and Zoe and Bertrand at a Super Bowl, and his handlers were trying to drag him away, to go to his next thing. And he just kind of waved him off because he was looking at each of us so intently about the conversation. Yeah. It was almost Zen-like. It's like you got a sense he was locked in. He's got that quality that makes you feel like You're the most important guy in the room. But I have to say the thing that you wrote about him that I thought was really interesting was that he's aware of his own aging, I guess.
Yeah.
And that there are questions that he has about his ability to kind of do the job. Did you get an ongoing sense of that, or was it like a fleeting moment he had leading up to the Buffalo game?
No, he was talking about calling plays. He was talking about it's harder to call plays at 62 than 42. I was just shocked when he said that, but it's like a little bit of doubt creeps in. You know a little bit so much that it can be kind of a weight, if that makes sense. And I think that, like, when I did with this story, and there's a lot in there. I mean, there's hardcore football stuff. There's fights. There's cool kind of funny moments. I think that, like, in one sense, I wanted to show readers this is every NFL head coach preparing for a playoff game. And then I also want to show this is why Sean is maybe one of one and what makes him different. And I think that, like, he's a total head coach, and the situational creativity you have to be a head coach in the NFL, I think is really interesting, because one moment you're meeting with management about how many tickets, how many seats each coach is going to get on the team chart of the Super Bowl if they win, because you have to plan. The league mandates that you make all these Super Bowl plans, whether you win the game or not. The next minute you have to plan your speech to the team the next day. The next minute you're dealing with a personnel issue. The next minute you're dealing with, trying to look at fringe red zone plays and, try to break down which ones might work for you guys. And so all of those things were really interesting. And I think that's what I was trying to show people. I think that in the lead up to the Bills divisional game, there's a lot of really entertaining stuff that Sean did to help get the team motivated, from giving them oxygen tanks to remind them they were going to run a lot of no huddle and wear the Bills out using the mile high air against them. I think that the atmosphere leading up to New England, because of the Bo Nix injury, was just much more businesslike. He was pushing himself and the staff to the brink. I mean, I have a pretty tense moment at about 1:30 in the morning at a offensive staff meeting where, look, everyone's just exhausted, and except for Sean, who's kind of a night owl. And, I think that, like, he knew how hard it was going to be to win that game with a backup quarterback, and he didn't want to leave anything proverbially on the field. But I think that he might have, like, pushed himself and maybe the staff a little bit too far. Did that end up impacting the game? It's really hard to tell.
So early in the piece, you share this. I'm going to read directly from the story, which I think gets at the heart of what you were just saying. And I want to pull at this thread for a minute. Peyton and I have known each other for years, and a running conversation between us is the paradoxical relationship between the NFL and America. The more professional football is watched and discussed, the less people truly understand what goes into winning a game, much less competing for a Super Bowl, what the practitioners of it are willing to trade, and what it does to those who define themselves against the results. So again, the whole piece is something what you just hit on, what the real job of a head coach sounds like, feels like, looks like. What else would you share as someone who has been in an NFL building for 15 days in the most tense, pressurized environment and time on the calendar that people might not know, to really give them a glimpse of what football really is like, to help them understand?
I think that, like, once you've lost, I think that, like, Bill Parcells, and to a certain, that ethos hovers over everything, which is this really kind of paranoia is not the right word, but it's like, it's an aspect that, like, you simply cannot rely on anything except trying to answer every question you can possibly think of. And that's it's almost a horrifically inefficient process. And, I think that Belichick based his ethos a lot on that. And so does Sean Payton and a lot of people from that tree. And so what I would say is that, like, you're watching people go through a cycle of meetings and strain, and it's spectacularly unhealthy. It's somewhat self-destructive, but it's also, they feel like they have to do it to give their players the best chance to win. And Sean Payton, atypically to most coaches, is a night owl. So he picks up steam at like midnight, and he goes and goes and goes. And I got all of his sleep scores. I got all of his text messages that he would send himself and to the staff at, during bathroom breaks in the middle of the night. the reoccurring dreams that he has about being unprepared, being on a bike that won't on the sideline of an NFL game and he's pushing the pedals and the bike won't move. And I think that like what I kind of come back to is like Friday late evening, Sean and I were before the Patriots game. Sean and I were the only ones in the building, and he starts watching the Patriots' most recent loss again, their most recent game again. He goes through a series of red zone plays that the Patriots defended just to find a couple extra plays. And like, he kind of knew, like, is this really helpful? Like, is this, do we really need this? But it was like a feeling that he was going for. And he finally found 2 plays. He wrote them out twice on legal yellow pad, once because the handwriting was messy. So he recopied them. He goes to the Xerox machine, leaves copies of them on every offensive coach's desk. And then finally around 8 or so, 8:30, he leaves for the night. And I think he felt like a sense of comfort knowing that it was 10:30 on the East Coast, and he was the only one who was still working. And, that's a fascinating mindset to live in, to be conditioned in, to kind of define yourself against. And, that's how a lot of these guys live their lives. And, you can point out whether that's productive or not, whether it's necessary or not. But I think that like when you lose games the way that some of these coaches have over the years, you feel like you have to try to think of everything and have an answer for everything. And then of course you watch the Patriots game unfold, and, Sean made some decisions in that game that, were key moments that were probably the difference, or at least part of the difference. And, you have to live with those decisions for the rest of your life after all that work.
Yeah, and fascinating, too, that he feels this kinship, as you write about, with Bill Belichick, because they both suffer, some form of PTSD from working under Parcells, but now they've both, kind of chosen to operate in much the same way, where the staff kind of operates almost from a basis of fear, walking around there. And some of the the meeting moments that you write about, it made me nervous reading it. Like, those points in the meeting where he's going over the film from the Buffalo game, I think, and the stuff that went wrong, and how he just wasn't happy. Like, it ties your stomach in knots.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think that like it's the head coach knowing what it looks like, and there aren't a lot of head coaches in the NFL who can run a program. Like, a lot of them are kind of glorified coordinators, and Sean is one of the 7 or so who knows what a prepared team looks like, and I think that like that's where all this stems from.
Okay, so one final question from me, Seth. Just based on the power rankings and the early predictions for the upcoming season, I think the Broncos are getting left out of some of these conversations, and I don't know exactly why. Now, you maybe have either the recency bias or just the familiarity from spending all that time with Peyton during the playoffs. Do you think they're being overlooked as a Super Bowl contender for this upcoming season?
I mean, I haven't paid that close of attention to it, but I think that it's more like so much changes. And, he talks about this, and these were Bill Belichick's notes. He was reading them the notes. He wanted to know how Bill prepared for the team coming off a bye in the playoffs. And he talked to the team. He showed Belichick his notes. He told the team that they were from Bill. And one of the things was like, there's all these myths about a team coming off a bye, and one of them was, we'll get there next year, and nothing is guaranteed. Look at the games that New England won last year. Look at some of the games that Denver won. Look at the fact that Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, all these guys were out of the playoffs. This stuff doesn't happen every year. And so I think that's the thing. Everything came up Denver last year. They were the number 1 seed. And then, to win a playoff game and lose your starting quarterback who made the decisive throws in that game to help you win it. I mean, that is like right then Sean knew that they weren't winning the Super Bowl. He knew they might be able to beat New England, but he knew they weren't winning the Super Bowl. And I think that's where all this stuff comes from, where, You just never know on a year-to-year basis who will be back. And, that's what makes the NFL so fun, is that there's teams like Denver who, can go from being a team that barely made the playoffs to the number 1 seed. But, nothing is guaranteed for the next year. And then you're looking at their own division and how much harder that's gotten, just with Mike McDaniel going to the Chargers and, the Raiders are going to be better. And again, it's just that, like, you can't, these moments don't come often in the career of a football coach. And so what does that mean for Denver this year? I have no idea. I just know that, like, they knew how precious this moment was. And I think that's why maybe they pushed themselves past the brink trying to take advantage of it.
All right, Seth, I'm going to ask you to pull up a Google page really quickly while I run down a couple more items, and then we'll end.
Well, we got to end it now.
Is that something you can do quickly for me, Seth?
A Google page?
Yeah, just like a search bar.
Google?
Yep.
Sure.
And then type in the words, is it normal to? And just leave it hanging there with the drop-down menu. Number 1, for folks who have not read the story yet, go to ESPN.com. Sean Payton's second chance inside the Denver Broncos Super Bowl quest. This is unlike access I've ever seen, read, or heard of. 15 days with the real team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Number 2,
it's fantastic.
Pre-order Seth's book. If you are familiar with Seth, you surely have not read everything he's written over 2 decades. Be on that hill. Stories from the summits of sport. This is coming out in September. You can order this. Go read all of Seth's best work over the years. And in this story, if you're more into the Patriots stuff, go ahead, search for it. Or search for things like $500,000 cash, oxygen tanks, and Jerry Rice's phone number, all procured by Sean Payton's assistant, Paul Kelly, who I have more questions for than anyone else in my life. Okay, so you have the Google bar in front of you.
Yes, and the 10 things that are following are not great things.
Okay, so we've all done it here this morning,
yes.
Seth, and we'll see if some of yours match ours. Go ahead.
Is it normal to poop 5 times a day, 3 times a day, discharge every day, get your period twice in a month, have bumps on the back of your tongue? I mean, be sore after a massage. What are we doing here?
Okay, so all right, these are not curated based on your Google search because we're all getting the same thing.
I know they're not.
Okay.
Hardy and I had very different ones initially when we did this, so we were curious if the algorithm had kind of seeped into everyone. But people are most curious about poop, it seems.
Yeah.
So we hate to drag.
I wish that.
Go ahead.
I kind of wish that I had made some stuff up just to mess with you guys.
Yeah. No, it's weird enough just to tell the truth. Seth, great work. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody read the piece and be on the lookout for the new book too. Seth Wickersham from ESPN. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Seth.
Oh, great to see you guys. Thanks, man.
Okay, there you go. Seth Wickersham. It is a great read. And again, I think I enjoyed it more just because I've really become a fan of Sean Payton's over the years, but the access during that time. It really is.
I just can't, aside from books that like Holly wrote in the early part of the Patriots dynasty, David Halberstam has spent a lot of time with Belichick and the education of a coach. There's just not anything that I can recall reading or hearing about that gets you as close as possible to what football really is. And it is Sean Patriot-centric, but I don't want people to hear that. I want to hear, like, if you want to know what it's like to prepare for these games, and with the Patriots on the other side, in their second biggest game of the season, and the Broncos, what turned out to be their biggest game, you get that up close and personal. Like, the stats, the strategy, the stress. They have a printed Patriots media guide. Like, it's just incredible work, and I'm at first was puzzled why this was dropped in the second week of July, but also very glad that it got room to breathe and that Seth took time to talk about it. And I know we got to go, but it's just it's an incredible piece, very well written, very insightful. There's a psychology in here. It's just outstanding.
The award-winning email segment up next. Stay with us.
You're listening to
bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Yes, the world-famous email bit is powered by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. It's not hard to do. Jeffrey Glassman. If you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email. Call all 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. I'm getting a lot of is it normal emails here. Thanks to you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
For starting this morning. A screenshot from Justin here. Once again, we have the discharge. This is the first one from Justin. Is it normal to, and then you just let Google complete the search for you. And the options for Justin are have discharge every day, pregnancy question. Oh, talk to yourself. That was one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of pooping questions. People are asking Google about the normalcy of poop and the frequency of poop, maybe more than anything else. That seems to be the common denominator.
It seems clear to me that the American education system has really failed us all when it comes to poop. We should not have this many questions about poop. We should all be confident and know when to go and how often.
And I think you should be confident that five times a day is too much.
Yeah, you should probably know what happened.
Look into that. What else do we have here? Oh, dear sir, I would like to thank you for the terms beef walk and lily padding. Again, these are one of these terms we were introduced to yesterday. Lily padding, the act of laying a layer of toilet paper down on the surface of the toilet water before you go to prevent the mermaid kiss or the kiss of Poseidon, the splashback. That's lily padding. The beef walk is the walk that you take before you are engaging in a particularly what you feel will be a large flatulent episode. You just kind of walk around away from people. He says, but thank you for the terms. My coworker is stinking himself out, so I suggested a beef walk. He said if it gets really bad, he will put a bunch of toilet paper in the porta potty to cover the, cover the maggots. I was able to tell him there's a term for that. I learn from the show every day. I've not uncovered that term yet myself, so I don't know.
Mermaid kiss, I think, is the only phrase among those that I will repeat that I'm comfortable with.
Mermaid kiss is gonna stay near and dear to my heart because that was the first. I do like the kiss of Poseidon a bit better. I don't know if there's just something linguistically about it that sounds better or it's more fun to say.
He's just in a constant state of puckering, just ready to lay one on you.
Ah.
That's what that suggests.
Yes.
The mermaid just pops up, comes back, doing
Right.
her thing otherwise.
Right.
Poseidon, though, is just ready.
He's
Valentine's Day is every day for Poseidon.
He's always there.
Yeah.
Here's a suggestion for two stats and a lie, which last year was pretty much ruined by the
my
inclusion of the
Where's Cece?
three.
I think Cece's the only one who could talk about two stats and a lie today. She's the only one to get it right.
She was the only one not paying attention.
She crushed it.
Which maybe says something about the validity of the whole game. The one who's barely paying attention is the only one who gets it right.
I've heard this before. I lost. This is unfair. You cheated.
Yeah.
This is rigged.
What if instead of getting 3 points for 3 lies, you do an option of either 3 stats or 3 lies? You don't have to choose which. The option is 3 of the same. And if you get the answer, and if that option, but you're wrong, you lose 3 points. That'll stop people from doing it just for points. So if you get a point, if you're right, but you lose 3 points if you're wrong.
I like it. I think it's just going to scare.
I don't think anybody would ever choose it. Then if it's the risk reward ratio is way off.
I think if you took it down to 1 point, because in the expected value of doing this, if you get it right 1 every 3 times, right? Man, I don't know. I think if you would deduce a point, that's fine.
You will include some kind of a twist, though. I know you. And I know you won't be scared off by just – you agreed too quickly to not have the 3 lies component in this upcoming season. But you're going to have –
It's such a struggle with you guys.
You will have some kind of a twist.
Yeah, adapt or die.
Okay.
You guys don't do the same show every day.
No.
See? Keep it fresh.
It's Sarah from Everett emailing in.
Hi, Sarah.
I love the Jalen fact about A.J. Brown that he is his cousin. My mother is Chris Everett, the pro tennis player. My full name is Sarah Francesca Everett. Sarah from Everett. Love Callahan. Oh, love Callahan on the radio. Paraguay, Andrew will know what that means.
Paraguay.
Were you saying that recently?
Last time I was in this chair.
Oh.
I did headlines, and it's just me and Holly, like I was telling you, 2-person booth. And he was just so tickled the way that I said it. Like, it will be when I'm trying to make my 8-month-old daughter laugh, just like giggling in the way I say something or making noise. I go, Paraguay. Paraguay. We did TV like 2 days later, and it came up again. He's just so happy the way I pronounced it.
Did you take high school Spanish? Is that where that's coming from?
I did a little in college.
Okay.
And then have been to Spain a couple of times. My wife lived there, and we vacationed a couple times over there.
Oh.
Proposed in Spain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
Not Paraguay.
No. I don't know how to say that's nice in Spanish, but that's very nice. I, for a time, adopted a completely incorrect pronunciation of a Patriots punter.
Oh, no.
Boyoketh.
I think I remember this, actually.
And I would insist on doing it on Patriots pregame and postgame, which, by the way, is a bit of a reunion tomorrow. The first year I did Patriots pre and post was with Andy Hart and Paul Perillo. Andy thankfully left after 1 year to pursue other endeavors, but I worked with Paul and then Mike Dussault for years after that. But I think the Boyoketh season was post Andy Hart.
Oh, so that would have been 2018 because he was that was my first season on the beat, and they had signed him. I think he was an undrafted rookie, and he punted and he was booming the hell out of the ball in training camp. But Bill never put him into the preseason. And we're like, is he really hiding with the undrafted rookie punter? You can go back. Never. Two punters, one played, and he was a starter who ended up getting the job. I think they wanted to sneak him on the practice squad. The Bills claimed him anyway. And it was just a small fascination of like, I had gotten closer to the team I rooted for as a kid and the greatness and Brady, Belichick, all this different stuff. But then you get these weird little things that pop up, like the undrafted rookie punter that we're hiding, who gets plucked anyway because the Bills needed one and said, yeah, we'll take him. Boyoketh.
But that would be such a Belichick thing to do.
It's exactly what happened.
Hiding the punter.
And it didn't work.
Oh, my God.
It was, and look, there's no harm in it. It was just odd. And then it turns out odd is like a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. Another 2-stat and a live suggestion.
Ooh.
Write down your answer on a note card. Hand them to Andrew and then discuss. I think when one starts, another may be convinced by the argument and switch their choice as a result. It ended up screwing me today because, to me, the action is the juice, and I just wanted to be the only one going with option number 1 as being the lie. Would I have gone? I don't think I would have gone with Cece, though. So it probably wouldn't have. It wouldn't have helped me getting the right answer today. But I did shy away from at least one of my better options, I think.
I think we can work with that, or we hand it to Nick. We get someone involved reading. Some of these too, like I'm willing to give a little bit more info. If you had said how much was the Super Bowl ticket, like I'd like to give that, and that gives you a little bit of a frame of reference. The one about the distance and running, though, was just too much conversions, and I didn't want to say, oh, this is how much an average soccer player runs. So just say, look, if you're throwing for a year and a half, which is what Drake May's career has been, on the field, that's a lot of yards. Not as many as the average soccer player is running in a 90-minute game over in Europe.
I'm still not convinced you did all the math on that one, but that's whatever. It's too late now. All right, we will come back with the stack and wrap this thing up for the day here on Toucher and Hardy.
Sports Hub headlines.
Jason Tatum has spoken. Last night at the Newton Community Stage in a Q&A, he discussed the Jaylen Brown trade, saying, among other things, quote, "It's tough, but it just makes you appreciate the moments in time."
Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
It is the stat. I keep forgetting to turn my own mic on. It's maybe the one thing Fred's board is good for.
I can turn it on for you, but
no, he turns my mic on for me, so keep missing it though. One thing in the stack today, and it has to do with a new film, not Jackass, which I've seen, or what's the new Steven Spielberg
Disclosure
one?
Day.
Did you see it?
No, but I'd like to.
Yeah,
Soon.
The Odyssey, which is the new Christopher Nolan epic.
Yes.
Okay. The first reviews are in from I guess a screening that took place mostly for film reviewers. All raves. Astonishing, breathtaking, bold, and perfection. A filmmaking feast from Christopher Nolan. Flawless filmmaking, every inch as epic as you'd expect. From the reviewer from Variety, a triumphant, spectacular epic. Matt Damon leads with grit, while Tom Holland brings sensitivity with heart. Fandango giving praise for Robert Pattinson. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody's raving about it, saying it's incredible. See it in IMAX 70 millimeter, this, that, and the other. Okay. I was all set to tap out on this one. I was not even going to bother with it because Christopher Nolan, whose movies for the most part I like, have been over the last few, like one, don't like one, like one, don't like one. And if you go back to like Insomnia, Batman Begins, Prestige, Dark Knight, all fantastic, right? Liked all those movies. The last few. Interstellar, I know everybody loves it. I don't care for it.
I still haven't seen it.
You don't have to. Dunkirk, I liked. Then Tenet, never got through it. I've tried 3 times. I can't do it. It doesn't make any damn sense. And after a point, I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't care. I'm all done. Oppenheimer, didn't care for it.
Oh!
Dude, boring. That movie bored me to tears. I think the source material is excellent and should be more riveting than it ended up being, but it ends up being like a courtroom drama more than anything.
It dragged a little in the last hour. But
only the last hour.
Nuclear bombs bore you.
How many
the building of nuclear bombs and spies and war and the stakes and future of humanity.
How many times do you get
Not
to
enough.
actually watch something blow up?
I'm going to see Jackass. I can just do it several times. We've talked about
exactly. So maybe after, I would say 2 misses in a row for me from Christopher Nolan, maybe it makes sense that The Odyssey is supposed to be that good. Damn it.
These reviews are wild.
They are wild. Like, I've never seen reviews like across the board as gushing as they are for coming in for this movie. Have you seen The Prestige?
No.
You should see The Prestige.
Okay.
Instead of watching Interstellar, watch The Prestige.
I mean, I've got basically 2 weeks before camp starts, so I got to squeeze a lot of movies in.
Yeah.
And now apparently another one.
Watch.
Though I studied Latin in middle and high school, so I know they've adapted it, but The Odyssey, that also, I was like, yeah, I know how this goes. Don't really need to revisit.
Look at you getting engaged in Spain. The correct pronunciation of, say it for me.
Paraguay.
Studying Latin.
I'm going to send a voice memo to Holly.
Andrew Callahan, great stuff today. Thanks, buddy.
Anytime.
Hopefully we'll see you
blast.
before the start of football season, but until we see you again, thank you. Tomorrow, me, Paul Perillo, Andy Hart here on Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Have a great day. Bye.